All right, what is up, everyone? Sorry for the delay. I'm having some technical difficulties. So if you come into the room, please. Hello, my name is DanieSteel. This is DanieSteel, home of the purple print. Okay, the one and only. And, if you guys are having a lot of trouble hearing me or anything like that, please let me know. And I will stop the broadcast basically and try to do it at a better time because internet is acting really funky right now on me. That's what happens when you live in the burbs. Okay, so again, welcome. All right, so we heard some news. I heard some news and I thought it was really interesting. And I was like, you know what? I think this is a good time for me to begin addressing politics a little bit more on this channel. Um, I don't really like to play in politics because I feel like people need to educate themselves. And I feel like Black people have suffered enough indoctrination and have suffered enough, persuasion and false statistics and false leaders and, false hopes, right? And it's like, I'm not trying to influence anyone to be anything but educated and knowledgeable in themselves and to do better for themselves and to do better for their people instead of sitting around complaining about everything and wondering why nothing changes or gets better. So again, I thought this would be an interesting topic because it's two very problematic, questionable individuals that are, fighting. And I really can't believe they really went to Candace Owens pulling up on Patrisse Cullors at her home. I was like, that is so ratchet. We got to discuss that, right? So let me and welcome if you're in the room. Please thumbs up the video and subscribe. All right, so let me play first for you Patrisse Cullors talking about this, okay? And if you don't know who Patrisse Cullors and Candace Owens are, you're probably better off for it. You're probably better off for it, just to be honest, because again, like I said, these are controversial, problematic, and questionable characters. So it's no surprise that they're not getting along, okay? Let's see. Let us first watch.
Okay, so this is insane. Hey, folks. Just waiting for. Hey, folks. Just waiting for folks to come on. Hey, everyone. Hey. Hey, everyone. It's been a while that I've been on here. Actually, I've been taking a break. Hey, everybody. Hey. Hey. It's good to see some of the team. Hey, folks. Welcome. Welcome. Whew.
Girl, get to it.
I just want to say that I want to thank everybody. Thank you so much. Good morning. I love y'all. It's been a hard few weeks. I first want to say I want to thank everybody for the folks who've just been in my corner and have been so good to me for so many years. I want to just say that the last 9 years in our movement has been hard and challenging and amazing and brilliant. And I'm specifically going through like a deep accountability process with the people I love and trust me. And the right-wing media and right-wing pundits are creating have created an incredibly dangerous environment for me. This morning, I woke up to Candace Owens being outside of my house with a news crew. She was demanding that I come outside And when I looked at the video recording of what she was asking about, she was actually asking about the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation property. And for some reason, it seems like she thought my house was that. It's unacceptable and it's dangerous that anybody, any stranger, come outside of my house, but it's really unacceptable and dangerous when Candace Owens, another Black woman who is actually working as a part of a right-wing agenda, comes outside of my house with cameras. As you all know, I've experienced, and many of us have experienced, death threats. Many of us have children. Many of us are super vulnerable. And the fact that she's came outside my house and demanded things, harassed me, is unacceptable. It is unacceptable. And I'm going to keep doing the work I need to do to make sure that I'm in right relationship with my community, but I'm not going to let the right wing and right wing pundits and media try to drive me against my community and have the community driven against me. I'm begging and pleading with all of you all to pay attention to what's happening to me and to many other people, many other leaders inside of this movement. Pay attention to what's happening, because what happened to me today has the potential to open up the floodgates of many other right-wing people that may next time be bearing arms, that may next time be more violent. This is unacceptable. Black people should be able to fight for our rights, for our right to live without being harassed, without being, without fearing for our lives, without having people, strangers, show up to our private and personal property. I'm still in shock. Thank God I called, obviously, my team. Thank God for community, for Black community, for Black movement community here in Los Angeles. I just really, really, like, y'all, I really need my family to be safe. I need to be safe. I need my child to be safe. And this, what happened this morning is not safety. It's not what I deserve. It's not what any of us deserve. So just be diligent when you see shit in the media and you see shit that's being talked about. Please be diligent, because they are purposefully doing this. They are purposefully building a wedge between Black people, because they know that when we are together, we're stronger. And they've seen what we've done this last decade. They've seen what we've done. And so they're literally trying to destroy us. They're trying to destroy me. They're trying to destroy the movement. And I just need us to be stronger. I need us to be more diligent. I need us to be more present. I need us to be clearer. I need us to be accountable. I love y'all so much. Pray for me, pray for my family, and pray and check on Black organizers, because this backlash that we're seeing, the backlash is real, and it's impacting our personal and everyday lives. So I love y'all a lot. I'm going to keep doing my work to be accountable and be in right relationship to the people I love and trust and that love and trust me. And I'll show up like I always do, messy and working hard and trying hard and with love and with joy. Um, and I'm gonna love y'all. That's all I can do. I'm gonna love y'all. So please enjoy your Saturday. I'm gonna try to get back on track with mine. And please take care of each other. I love y'all.
Okay, so a lot of things there. A lot of things there. First, let me state some things. Okay, one, as I said earlier, to anyone who missed it, these are two, Candace Owens, Patrisse Cullors. There are two very controversial, oftentimes problematic, oftentimes questionable characters, women. Each of them feels very strongly about what they're doing. Each of them feels they have the answers. They know how to deliver Black people or save Black people, right? And what you're dealing with, and this is what Black folk need to understand, is a sort of information war, right? And Candace Owens is telling you one thing, right? She's telling you, these Democrats, they're using you. They see you as children. They see you as babies, like little children that they don't like, right? And they make all these promises and they never fulfill them, and they're just using you, and they're infantilizing you, right? With welfare incentives, and the politicians and leaders that you vote for and trust are bad, right? That's Candace Owens' position to Black people. So, like, free yourselves and become Republican, right? Right? That's where it would all change, right? If we all just joined her party and thought like her and acted like her, right? So that's where Candace Owens is coming from, oftentimes. And then Patrisse Cullors, of course, is the founder and leader of the Black Lives Matter movement. She recently stepped down, but Black Lives Matter received well over $100 million in donations. I believe it's been hundreds of millions of dollars in donations. Okay, let's say it was 100 mil. Word is coming out, Patrisse owns 3 homes that are worth 4 mil. Now word just came out recently, Black Lives Matter purchased a home for 6 mil. If you look on the Black Lives Matter website, they are clearly aligned with the Democratic Party, right? So they're like, the Democrats love you, which, does that make sense that you're being loved? Is that how you're experiencing the world? You see what I'm saying? Okay, but you guys keep voting, doing what you do, and I guess, right? Okay, so Black Lives Matter is very closely aligned with the Democratic Party. So these two women are like fighting, to get Black people on the sides of these parties. I mean, I don't see like where they actually care about Black people. And you can be like, oh my gosh, she's done so much for Black people, like Patrisse Cullors. Okay, I mean, you can't deny the work that she's done. We also can't deny that this nonprofit that she built received over $100 million. Okay, and all we can see in terms of property, in terms of value of where that money went, is into buying her homes. Okay, so that's very odd. People want to know what else happened to all the rest of that money. How is that serving people, right? And Black Lives Matter has come out, a bit more recently this year, being more transparent, like, oh, we sent $25 million here, and we're investing in this bill, and the defunding of the police, and giving money to on the ground organizations for Black people. So they're letting you know a little bit more, and they said, hey, most of our money came in 2020, right? So we couldn't really tell you where everything was going before, because it wasn't a lot of stuff moving around, but mostly it all just came in 2020 anyways. So, oh, okay, now, so here's what we're doing. When you ask them, like, okay, who's leading this? Who's running this? Who's the person that we can go to get the answer to these questions? Patrisse Cullors steps down and no one's in charge. So now they're like, okay, well, if no one's in charge, then you shouldn't be collecting money. You shouldn't still be receiving money, because you can't even prove, like, who's receiving this money, who's in charge of this, and how it's being spent and whatnot, right? But they're still receiving money. So it's a lot going on with this organization. And again, the fact that you look out and the only thing that you can see tangible from where all of this Black Lives Matter went is the properties that the founders are living in. To me, that's bizarre. That's bizarre. I'm not saying you need to buy a bunch of properties, but y'all could have bought some properties for, they said, oh, the $6 million house, this is like a safe house for activists and stuff. I mean, I know I've seen stories from many activists that say they got burned by BLM. They needed funds. They needed help. They didn't get it. So it's not just the right wing that is looking at you sideways right now. The people that have worked with them, I know a lot of people on the ground in Ferguson, right? And the people that were on the ground in Ferguson paid with their lives. They didn't get mansions. They put a lot of work in to this movement. And what is the movement? Is there something new about Black people moving? The fuck? Is there something new about that? What is this movement? That we shout out loud that we're Black and things are hard? And then they spray paint BLM on the street in yellow, the end? What is the movement? A bunch of people that don't want to live around you in the suburbs putting a BLM sign outside on their lawn? Then they go to the school board meetings and try to get bills passed that keep their children in segregated schools. Still today in America, yeah. Black people, please get interested in what's going on around you. That's why women are shocked right now with this Roe v. Wade situation. Keep your eyes open. They've been trying to take this away since it came on the scene. Keep your eyes open. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up and stand up for your rights anytime soon. See, this is the kind of stuff that I focus on in life. I don't focus on gender warring and all that BS, all the division for no reason. But right now, we're dealing with an information war. The left and the right, they want to see which one can control your minds the best. That's it. That's all. Hang it up, folks. They don't care about you. They don't care about your quality of life. Neither side. And I've had uppity ass, self-righteous people that I was friends with that were liberals try to treat me a certain way because I'm not staunchly on the left or staunchly on the right, right? Well, certainly not staunchly on the right? But they're like, oh my God, she's not uber left. Like, you're uber left? You're a classist. You're a classist. You don't want to hang out with the people that are going through real problems. You want to appropriate their struggle and say that your middle class privileged ass is going through it too. That's what you want to do. That's what most of these people that you see out here are doing. So why couldn't that money, mental health, I talk about it all the time. It's, to me, the number one thing that is missing from the Black community is mental health. Mental health, besides finances. Which is why if you're a descendant of American chattel slavery, if you're a Black person born in America, you should be interested in reparations. It's not something that you asked for. It's something that is owed to your people. It's not something that you're like, can y'all please give us reparations? It's like, guess what? you wronged a group of people, and then you're trying to like lollygag and pretend like that shit didn't happen, and oh well, we never fixed it, so it won't be fixed. You gonna fix something? You gonna give me something? Because that's how it works. Because that's what you did for all these other groups of people here. But does Black Lives Matter focus on reparations, which would immediately get the resources that so many Black Americans need directly to them? Period. The end. The resources there. Nobody can say anything. If they gave the reparations, then it would be like, okay, guess what? We gave y'all reparations. So you had the resources. So if you're still failing, and of course the system ain't going to change. They're going to find somebody to put at the bottom. Can you guess who's at the bottom right now? Can you guess? A lot of y'all don't know who's at the bottom. I promise you. Y'all don't move like y'all know who's at the bottom. Y'all don't move like y'all know who's at the bottom. Then you won't be mad at a sister that gets it. When you're at the bottom, you have to work harder than everyone else. You're at the bottom. You got to work harder than everyone else to get up to the top. You don't make excuses. You don't say, well, Black people, we got to watch TV to escape. That's all we know. All we know is this and all we know is that. Y'all know so fucking much. Y'all so fucking smart. It's crazy. You level the playing field for Black people, bam, you get Simone Biles. All you got to do is level the playing field. Allow Black people into the same spaces that you have historically allowed everyone else in. You let a Black person in the pool, next thing you know, a Black woman's winning the swimming Olympics. It's just that simple. My educational playing field was leveled when I was a very young child. And I received a scholarship to go to a private parochial school and get private education. And that's why someone like me is very dangerous, because I grew up in the hoods they relegated Black people to. Then I went and got their education. Ooh. Oh no, don't do that. Now you got a problem, because you can't just lie to me, because I know how y'all living. And now you're not going to tell me that how Native Black Americans and Native Americans, I'm sorry, but I got to shout out to Native Americans. You know, a lot of us got Native American. Oh, yeah, that's why I got Indian blood. Well, I mean, use your brain. Y'all can admit that Black people have white blood. I mean, you can look at genetics. Look at phenotype. Like, of course, look at admixture, look at demographics, look at history. Of course, there's mixing and mingling going on in there. Anyways, shout out to my great grandmama Cherokee. Okay? The native populations of any group of people, okay? So I'm shouting out the natives right now, because I've had a lot of Native Hawaiians come up to me and say, hey, you know, we're going through so much and we're just being ignored. Y'all cannot come into a country and ignore the native populations. The hell do you think you're doing? And this very country here that we're living in is ignoring their native populations. You can't come into a country and say, well, my family's been here 3-4 generations, when there's people that have been here for hundreds of years, and ignore their plight. And ignore how they keep getting pushed to the bottom. This happens in almost every country you go to that has been colonized. The native populations are at the bottom. If we can acknowledge that everywhere else in the world, why do you think that there's something magical in the air of America that makes it so that America's different? Y'all really think everybody in America is privileged? You know how stupid you sound? You don't get privilege without oppression. Somebody's got to be pushed to the bottom for people to have privilege. Duh, and it ain't people that are seas, oceans away. It's right here on this soil. Y'all gotta use your brains. Because all that diaspora warring was trash. Now, if I move to London and I'm sitting there kikiing with them and missing the jokes that they've used for generations against black people there and be like, oh well, I don't mind whenever I hang out with them. It's cool, it's Gucci. I feel great. I love it here. Y'all don't have any problems and y'all need to be quiet. That would be fucked up, wouldn't it? I would never do that. I went to London. I said, hey, it's totally different than America. And I went to Bristol. I went to other parts of the UK as well. I was like, hey, it's totally different. It's a totally different vibe. I can get down with this. And black people from the UK said, hey, but they're still racist here. Don't mistake, the subtlety for it. And I'm like, dude, I get it. And I would never come here and play y'all like that. But everybody can come to America and try to play black Americans like that. Come on. You can come here and play Native Americans. You got people in Hawaii that just got to Hawaii 2-3 generations ago talking about some, can you guys not come here to visit? Like, just don't come here to visit. Don't ever come here on vacation. Can you get your ass on out of there and give the land back to the Native Hawaiians? Can y'all do that? You've been in Hawaii, your family been in Hawaii 40, 50 years. You're walking past the Native Hawaiian that's homeless to get online to tell me not to come and visit. Hypocrites. So this is what Candace Owens said about how she pulled up on Patrisse Cullors. She was like, okay, like what? Really? Okay. Let's take a look at what Candace Owens had to say in response to Patrisse Cullors.
Okay, so this is insane. This is insane. In real time right now, I am watching Patrisse Cullors do a live claiming that I went to her property and demanded to speak to her. And I don't know if I can describe her. She sounds like she's really scared. We're working on a documentary talking about all the funding pertaining to Black Lives Matter. Obviously, we know that Patrisse and a lot of the founders purchased $1 million homes in white neighborhoods. They also purchased a Black Lives Matter property. So we went to the property and asked if there was anyone that we could speak to, very politely, by the way. We've got cameras in tow, so there's no way she could, it's all on camera. And we said, is there anyone we can speak to? Nobody asked us to leave. The person went inside. It was just a white man that we saw outside that was providing security, which is super interesting because obviously Patrisse here is anti-police. And so she's, oh my God, I think she's crying on this live, pretending that she was harassed. Like I said, very politely to the guys, is there anyone we can speak to? My name's Candace Owens. We never went over the gate. It was just me ringing the doorbell, trying to speak to someone. He said absolutely nothing. He started just recording us. And we said, okay, if there's no one we can speak to, we're going to leave. Patrisse is pretending to be scared because she knows that this Black Lives Matter lie is falling apart. And she doesn't know what to do. I mean, people are aware of the scam of this Black Lives Matter. She's intentionally limited the comments, so you can't even comment on this post, because I was going to comment and be like, this is a complete lie, and we have it all on camera in terms of what happened. So what you are seeing right now is the face of a woman who is pretending she's afraid of right-wing pundits, when in reality, she's being exposed as a fraud who took millions, used the faces of Black people, took millions of dollars to fund herself, to fund her lifestyle, to fund her girlfriend, and to buy $1 million mansions in neighborhoods where no Black people live. So Patrisse, this footage this story that we're covering is a significant one. I have always been interested in the fraud that is Black Lives Matter, your fake tears, your crocodile tears about someone politely ringing your gate and speaking to your white security guard and asking if there was anyone that I could talk to because I was covering the story. Not really going to cut it, Patrisse. This is only going to commit me further to discovering the truth about what you have done with this funding. Black people died. You used their faces to raise money. You demanded that the policing be stopped. You demanded that police officers be defunded, but you've got a private security detail outside of $1 million homes. It just doesn't work this way, sweetheart. So the truth shall set you free, or Candace Owens shall set you free, girl, because I'm about to tell the truth. All right, we're still filming. Bye.
Okay, so Candace Owens was like, look, we pulled up to a property that said it was owned by Black Lives Matter. Like, I didn't try to find your home address. You know, when we got to the gate, it was a white security guard, right? And people have said that if you like go to a Black Lives Matter property, there'll be like a white security guard out there being like this isn't a Black Lives Matter, and it'll be listed as a Black Lives Matter property. But when you get there, like the white security guard is like, this isn't a Black Lives Matter property. Okay, so again, you know, Patrisse Cullors bought several homes worth millions of dollars with this money. Okay, and right now I want to read for you guys an article from the New York Magazine, okay, by Sean Campbell. And this came out April 4th, 2022, okay? On a sunny day late last spring, 3 leaders of the Black Lives Matter movement, Patrisse Cullors, Alicia Garza, and Melina Abdullah, sat around a table on the patio of an expensive house in Southern California. The women were recording a YouTube video to mark the first anniversary of George Floyd's murder, and they discussed their racial justice work and the difficulties they had faced over the year. For me, the hardest moments have been the right-wing media machine just leveraging literally all of its weight against me, against our movement, against BLM, the organization, Cullors said. I'm some weeks out now from a lot of the noise, so I have more perspective, right? While I was in it, I was in survival mode. She was referring to an April 2021 article in the New York Post that revealed her purchase of 4 homes for nearly $3 million. The disclosures had contributed to the idea that there is a disturbing gap between the fortunes of the movement's most visible figures and on-the-ground activists across the country. And Cullors resigned as executive director of Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation on May 27th, within a few days of the patio chat. I think they've attempted to cancel us, but they have not been successful in canceling us, Abdullah said at another point in the conversation. They've attempted to say, and I'm just going to say it, she bought some damn houses, we gonna cancel her. Garza cut in with a comment seemingly addressed to critics. Y'all don't know shit about what it takes to live in a box here. Okay? This is literally what these women said. This is like how they're talking. And it's so hypocritical. And the only people that seem to come against me when I speak about this on social media are class privileged Black people who are, you know, in the Democratic Party or aligned with Democratic Party, affiliated with Democratic Party, that want Black people to vote Democrat. I don't care where you vote. Just make sure you move. Just make sure you move smarter. Just make sure you move more strategic. Just make sure you know what you're doing when you do it. When you pull that damn lever down and you make your voting choice. I'm looking at everybody. I'm questioning everybody. And if you're a Black person telling me not to question someone, I'm looking at you side-eye. I had so many Black women being like, oh my God, you didn't vote this way, and you didn't do this vote, and you didn't vote that way, and you didn't, bitch, you don't run my life. You came from class privilege. I came from the ground. We're not the same. Because if you look at my life, now I'm doing better than most of the class privileged people that I've known. I'm just keeping it rap, okay? So it's like, anyways, I'm thinking about the people on the ground. You're thinking about what to say to get a Scooby snack from a Democrat. We're not the same. Candace Owens, she's looking for Scooby snacks from the right. I'm looking for change, fundamental change, and empowerment and equity. That's why I can't I'm like, these dudes on here are clowns. Why would you even have a conversation with dudes on here? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've had conversations with Black YouTubers and social media personalities, if you will, but we've been talking about this. This is what we talk about. I don't do it so much on this channel personally because I'm like, I don't know how much y'all paying attention. I'm not going to waste my time because I told you before, only God can save black people. It's not gonna be May. It's not gonna be May. Okay? I'll leave that to God. But the fact that you could be a man and you don't know nothing about politics, you don't know nothing about what's going on with your people, you're not putting in that work. Mental health is at a crisis point in this country, especially for black folk. They could have been donating, investing that money into schooling programs. Again, why don't they care about something as basic as reparations? Why don't they talk about that? Why don't they talk about black women femicide? How hard would it be? Instead, they're sitting up there talking about bills that don't impact black people in any substantial way. Talking the same old talk the Democratic Party's been talking, telling you that marching and shouting something is going to make a change. That ain't nothing new. We need something new. What y'all doing new with that money? Talking about something, y'all can shout, you can hold a sign, and we're going to spray paint BLM on the street. We gave them some money to bail people out from protests when they... That's not for black people. That's for all the... You know what I mean? Non-black people was out there during the pandemic so they could get out the house and feel like they was doing something. What are you talking about? They the ones that got arrested. What are you talking about? Where the money at? How does it help black people? And again, I'm not hating on class-privileged black people. I'm currently one of them. Okay, you know, God is good. God is good. God is good. All the time and all the time. Church say, God is good. Okay. But the ones that grew up in it, y'all don't understand what it's like to grow up poor and black in this country. So you can't tell poor black people what to do. You're not smarter than them because it takes a lot to get... You know how many people don't like me? You know what I had to do to get out of that? It takes a lot to get out of that. At the same time, you don't get to make excuses or feel sorry for yourself because a lot of us did get out of it. And it's possible for all of us. So I want to show you guys right now. Candace Owens said something about... I'm not done reading that article. I'm going to try to get through it and then get going. Yeesh. Okay, so right now I want to... let's see.
Okay, so
let's see. Candace Owens mentioned Patrisse Cullors' partner, okay? And she said, you know, this Black Lives Matter money is going to fund Patrisse Cullors, the top leaders of the movement, and Patrisse Cullors' wife, who, if you look at her bio information, she is listed as one of the founders of the movement, okay? So it's interesting that she's listed as one of the founders of the movement, but they're so intent on making it clear that she doesn't receive any of the funds. She doesn't directly work with or receive any of the funds, okay? And it's like, why? Like, why would that be a problem if you guys are all receiving the funds and it's all Gucci? I'm sorry, they. She's non-binary, so they do not receive the funds. And okay, so this is Patrisse Cullors' partner. Okay. Her name, their name is Janiyah Khan. Okay. And they are a very beautiful person. They are a very beautiful person. They have a very distinct look. It's giving FKA Twigs. So I imagine Patrisse got to keep Janiyah very happy. Janiyah looked like they're used to living a certain way. Janiyah looked like they eat right, they work out, like to. So is there validity in what Candace Owens is saying about the money being used to, fund their lifestyle, right? And that's what people want to know. They want to know, where has all of the money gone? It's a lot of money. Just yesterday, they received another $4-point-something million donation. Just yesterday. Or just the other day. Right? So all of the time, they are getting millions of dollars in donations. That's not money that's going to hospital programs for prenatal care for Black women and their babies. That's not money that's going to Black schools. I can tell you where it's not going. We haven't seen it going to causes for Black femicide, Black women's prenatal care, Black people mental health programs, Black people scholarships, HBCUs. Somebody, we gave it to some orgs on the ground. What they doing with it? Splitting it up too? There's no accountability for this money. You ever been to the hood? They don't have like some little shop in the hood where it's like, this is where we go when we need equal rights. Like, what are you talking about? Where's the money? Where's the money? Where's my money, bitch? Okay, where's the money? And then you have these indoctrinated, born into class privilege, which statistically, I'm sorry, Black middle class people born into middle class privilege, I hope you understand that statistically, you're not going to be middle class the way your parents were. Statistically, even less so than a non-Black person born into the middle class is to not be in the middle class. You're even more so not going to be in the middle class. Understand that. Something about being given a whole bunch of stuff and being able to say, I had parents and I had this and I had that doesn't make y'all want to work hard enough to compete in this country. This is a competitive country. I'm willing to compete. You know what I'm saying? So I can't relate to people talking about something. It's tough, it's hard, it's competitive. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. And again, I think Grizoy, sorry for saying your name wrong, Grizoy, pointed out, right? These are people who are claiming to be Marxists, living a capitalist life. Hey, this isn't some far-fetched thing that they would, you know what I'm saying, for these class privileged Democratic Party Black people to be coming up to me being like, why are you questioning them? Because I ask questions. I'm not you. I'm not gonna have have a whole facet of society that I don't ask questions about. Because Hillary said don't ask questions. I don't give a The Clintons took a bunch of black people's money too. Ask Haiti. Allegedly. Where that money at? I don't trust black people that don't ask questions. I don't. I have nothing to say to you. I don't do that. You know, one time I was out with an estranged family member, and they just had an attitude. Just, you know, the way black people just have an attitude for no reason. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, why? I know you ain't got an attitude with me. I haven't done nothing to you. All I've done is be kind. But she had an attitude because she was acting jealous and shit, just to be honest. I'm like, why are you acting jealous? If you don't want to see me, then bitch, why you keep asking to see me? Like, y'all got to get it together. If I don't like somebody, I don't ask to hang out with them. Y'all so weird. Anyways, I'm talking about serious matters, and she's rolling her eyes. She don't want to hear none of that shit. And my husband said, he said, something happened. He said it was so bizarre. He said, you started talking about celebrities. And like her face lit up, her mood completely changed. And she got comfortable, and she was willing to have a conversation with me. But when I wanted to talk to her about politics, when I wanted to talk to her about the things that matter in life, she had an attitude. She didn't want to talk about it. Something's wrong with y'all. Something is wrong with y'all. Something is wrong with y'all. You want to know what so-and-so doing, what so-and-so doing. So why do you complain then? Why do you come into, well, you'll see somebody doing better than you and have an attitude. Jealous, bitter. Stank ass attitude. So the people want to know. The people want to know, is her money going, right, to her partner? Because her partner looked like her partner looked like they're, this is a nice outfit right here. This is an expensive coat. Look at my shoes. Look at my shoes. This is an expensive coat. Look at my watch. Look at her fit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Their fit. Sorry. Then they want to talk about being Marxists and having a, this a sort of, communist approach to all the people share all of the resources. They got $100 million and they took a chunk of it for themselves. And it didn't go to all of those activists out there that were on the ground. It hasn't gone to the people. That money has not gone to the people. That's very clear. It went to a few people. And that's not what it's for. Now, are they doing something illegal? I guess not. But transparency and accountability matter. Okay, so the article that I'm reading, all right, so this is the video. This is the moment that the article is referencing, where these women are saying what they're saying in the article here. Okay, they're in this $6 million mansion that Black Lives Matter purchased. A $6 million mansion. And they're like, oh, well, it could be used as a safe home. Why would you buy a $6 million mansion to be a safe home? And you're worried about security. Why would you buy something big and flashy that can be found? Wouldn't you invest the money to have something, a property somewhere where people wouldn't be so inclined to intrude? Because it wasn't much to look at and it wasn't so out in the open and obvious, like a $6 million mansion with pools and theaters and stuff. You need a theater and a pool to hide out? Come on, are we doing this? Are we doing this? Now, if it's a little investment for yourselves, just say that. Because there haven't been any activists that have come out and said Black Lives Matter housed me and my family for this long and, you know, allowed us to live here and were helping us while we got through. I haven't heard none of those stories. Again, the California property was purchased for nearly $6 million in cash in October 2020 with money that had been donated to Black Lives Matter. Okay, so again, Garza cuts in with a comment seemingly addressed to critics. Y'all don't know shit about what it takes to live in a box here. So they're in LA, okay? They're in California. Most Black people have to live in what they call a box there. And it only, California has a very small percentage of Black people. And the majority of them are living in what these women consider a box. And they say, what you want us to do, live in a box like you? That doesn't sound very Marxist of them. That doesn't sound like they're in community. Didn't you just see Patrisse Cullors with her tears? Be like, I'm just thankful for Black people in community. And where's Black people in community when you don't want to live near them? None of the women acknowledge the house behind them. It's far from a box, with more than 6,500 square feet, more than half a dozen bedrooms and bathrooms, several fireplaces, a sound stage, a pool and bungalow, and parking for more than 20 cars, according to real estate listings. The California property was purchased for nearly $6 million in cash in October 2020, with money that had been donated to Black Lives Matter. The transaction has not been previously reported, and Black Lives Matter leadership had hoped to keep the house's existence a secret. Documents, emails, and other communications I've seen about the luxury property's purchase and day-to-day operations suggest that it had been handled in ways that blur or cross boundaries between the charity and private companies owned by some of its leaders. It creates the impression that money donated to the cause of racial justice has been spent in ways that benefit the leaders of Black Lives Matter personally. On March 30th, and I guess the person says I, so this is the writer of the article, right? On March 30th, I asked the organization questions about the house, which is known internally as Campus. Afterward, leaders circulated an internal strategy memo with possible responses ranging from, can we kill the story, to our angle needs to be to deflate ownership of the property. The memo includes bullet points explaining that Campus is part of cultural arm of the, so Campus is what they call the $6 million house, right? The memo includes bullet points explaining that Campus is part of cultural arm of the org, potentially as an influencer house where abolition and based content is produced by artists and creatives. Another bullet is headed Accounting 990 Modifications and reads in part, need to first make sure it's legally okay to use as we plan to use it. The memo also describes the property as a safe house for leaders whose safety has been. Okay, I just want to make sure you guys can still hear me because it looks like internet's being a little flaky. If you can still hear me or can't hear me, just let me know. Okay, so I'm going to continue. The two notions that the house is simultaneously a confidential refuge and a place for broadcasting to the wildest possible audience are somewhat in tension. The memo notes Hull's insecurity story used in public YT videos. In an email statement on April 1st, Shalomia Bowers, Black Lives Matter Global Network board member, said that the organization bought campus with the intention for it to serve as housing and studio space for recipients of the Black Joy Creators Fellowship. The fellowship, which provides recording resources and dedicated space for Black creatives to launch content online and in real life focused on abolition, healing justice, urban agriculture, and food justice, pop culture, activism, and politics, was announced the following morning. Bowers also said in a statement that Black Lives Matter Global Network had always planned to disclose the house in legal filings this May, but it does not serve as anyone's personal residence, and that purchasing property via private LLCs is customary in real estate as a way of protecting assets from litigation and liability. The statement did not address why, if the house was primarily intended to be a creative space, relatively little content has been produced there over the course of 17 months. Even if everything about the house is above board, the general air of secrecy is out of step with the transparency that is expected of charitable or tax-exempt organizations. The size of the acquisition could expose the group to criticism. That's a very legitimate critique, says Jacob Harold, a former CEO of GuideStar and the co-founder of Candid, an information service that reports on nonprofits. It's not a critique that says that what you're doing is illegal or even unethical. It might just be unstrategic. Why are you spending it on a policy, or why aren't you spending it on a policy, or other strategies that an organization might take to address the core issues around Black Lives Matter? Even an appearance of impropriety or mismanagement threatens to deter donors and harm the larger movement for racial equity. On this score, some of the harshest criticism of Black Lives Matter has come from within. Internal emails dating to 2016 show activists voicing concern about how donations were being spent and how the organization was being run, and frustrations only continued to mount. In the fall of 2020, 10 city chapters issued a public statement rebuking the global network for its opacity, and the families of some Black victims of police violence have complained that they have seen little of the funds that have flowed to the movement's most visible facet. Okay, so again, it's not just people on the right asking them questions. It's not just people on the right asking them questions. And they have a very indignant attitude about it. They have a very flippant attitude about it. As you'll see later on when I continue reading the article, they're like, I don't owe you accountability. That's what one of them said. I believe it was Abdullah, who is the woman on the right that is standing up. Patrisse Cullors is the woman on the left in the animal print sweater. And I believe Alicia Garza is in the middle, okay, of the screen there. So the article continues. George Floyd's death triggered an outpouring of contributions to Black Lives Matter, and in October 2020, the organization received an infusion of $66.5 million from a fiscal sponsor, an intermediary commonly used by fledgling nonprofits to process donations. 2 weeks later, a man named Dane Pascal purchased the 7-bedroom house that would become known as Campus. According to California business registration documents, Pascal is the financial manager for Janaya and Patrisse Consulting, an LLC run by Cullors and her spouse, Janaya Khan. Pascal is also the chief financial officer for Trap Heals, a nonprofit led by Damon Turner, the father of Cullors' only child. This happens so much when Black people get into office, Black leaders, they put their family members in important positions to keep the monies, all in one place. I don't see a system of checks and balances going on here at all to keep these people accountable. And they're playing in that money. I'm sorry, but it looks like they're playing in that money. And now, if you recall what I just read off of this article, right? When they play with the funds like that, they're fucking up the movement. Okay? I'm sorry I had to use the F-bomb. I know that there's some Black woman listening right now that's like, I go to church. Good for you. I've spent more time in church than you probably ever will. Okay? That's just a fact. All right? I've been to church my whole life. Like, relax. You're not better than anyone. Okay? You can hear an F-bomb. I know you heard it from your grandmama. Stop. My grandmama didn't curse. Okay, well, boo-hoo. Mine's dead. Now he minds. Okay, so anyways, it discredits the movement for them to be playing around in the money. It discredits the movement for them to be saying, oh, we're Marxists and they're living this very capitalist life. It discredits the movement when they say defund the police. But if you go to any of the properties that they own, there's, a white security guard outside and they live in white communities. I think that's BS. If you're going to be a representative, a government representative, you have to live of a city. You have to live in the city. You have to live in the city's limitations, right? So the chief of police of a city, right? He might make enough money to live in the suburbs, but if you want to be the chief of police of that city, you have to live in the city. You can find some nice house somewhere around Black people, but you want to talk about defund and abolish the police. And then you want to run out to your $1 million mansions with your white security guards whilst poor Black people, poor Black women, poor Black children are living in these defund, abolished of police neighborhoods. That's hypocritical. So for the born into class, and I will repeat, born into class privilege, because most of y'all in your adulthood haven't made it to where your parents were born into middle class, elitist, classist Black people who are indoctrinated by the Democratic Party. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I said it. Okay? I said it because y'all annoy me on your way to blue check Black Twitter. Those types. Who the hell are you to ask me why I'm questioning what's going on for the lives of Black people? You don't understand what's going on because you grew up in the suburbs? Well, go ahead. In about 5 years, you'll be living a lot closer to these poor Black people than you was born living to them. Maybe you'll get it then. Maybe you'll get it then. I'm probably gonna make a separate video about this because I'm so incensed about it, but they've outlawed plastic bags where I live. Okay, the entire state has outlawed plastic bags. I'm highly upset. I'm like, what is this? The ocean? I'm that area. I don't live in the ocean. Okay, plastic bags behoove me. I'm not throwing them into the ocean. I don't know how they end up there. Why you gotta take my plastic bags away? Get a plastic bag. Go ahead, pick up all this cash. Go ahead, pick up all this cash. I'm supposed to pick up all this cash with a reusable bag? Where am I gonna get the bags from? So what made me upset about this was that I go into the stores around where I live. There are no signs telling you that there are no more plastic bags. You go in, you purchase your products, you look around for bag at self-checkout, there's no bags. I said, where are the bags? Okay, first of all, me and my husband went in and got a bunch of stuff. We put the stuff on the counter. Okay. The guy goes, he looks at us, he checks everything out. And I'm not noticing as he's ringing it up, he's not putting it in a bag. I'm not noticing that, right? He rings it all up. And it's at least 10 items, okay? We pay for everything. And he says, do you need a bag? Because they're $2. I said, what? I said, what you mean, do I need a bag? Does it look like I need a bag? Of course I need a bag. What are you talking about? I'm like, so he was like, yeah, they're $2. I was like, what you mean they $2? He's like, yeah, they've been outlawed. You can't have plastic bags anymore. I was like, so why didn't you just say that they've changed the rule? Why didn't you announce it? Why did you put a poster on the door or something? You wait till we got here with all this stuff on the counter. Talking about something, do you need a bag? Use your brain. Well, obviously I need a bag. Next time I go into the grocery store, I go to self-checkout. No more plastic bags. Because when the guy said that it was outlawed, I didn't believe him. I was like, he's being weird and cheap. I'm like, he's playing games the way that they be playing games at these stores. Like, I didn't believe him. I didn't look it up or anything. I simply didn't believe him. I go to the grocery store and I buy several products. I go to self-checkout. There's no plastic bags. And I was telling my husband's like, why are you so upset? He's like, it's $2. Just buy the bag. I'm like, okay, because you grew up in class privilege. I grew up poor, bruh. And the first thing that comes to my mind is all these poor black people that I know, that you would sit there, you would count up your change. You'd be like, I got $10. I'm about to get this, and that. You go into the store, you mad excited. I got $50. You make your list. You like, I know I can get this. I need this, and that. You get to the store, you got 12 items. You got your fucking $50. It's $50. And then you turn around and they telling you it's going to be $2, $2.50 per bag. What? Then supply the bag. Oh, you know what? You can help me carry this stuff out to my car. Like, what? Y'all couldn't even put a sign on the door? It's crazy. The disrespect. And I felt badly for people who couldn't afford to pay for the bag. Y'all know how I am. I'm a very empathetic person. I'm very empathetic. And again, my husband is like, just buy the bag and stop asking them why there's no more bags. There's no more bags, And I'm like, what about all these poor people who can't afford $2.50 per bag? You know when you go into Wegmans, shout out Wegmans. You go to the grocery store, you know how many bags you use? Now, the disposable bags, to be fair, they're bigger, And I personally, I love the ocean, and I'm very much looking forward to, I know, when you go to Miami Beach, sometimes there's a lot of stuff floating in the water. When you go to Miami Beach, that kind of stuff pisses me off. Like, y'all can't keep y'all own beach clean. Y'all have this beautiful beach here to enjoy, and then y'all let, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's pollution right in the water just sitting there, and y'all have this beautiful beach. Come on, do better. I'm very much looking forward to the fish being able to swim, and hopefully there's no, pollution and whatnot, accumulating to, bother them and whatnot. I think that's great. But the companies can afford to give out bags. Every time you come now, you have to have money to buy a bag. And it's just another thing when you're poor. That's difficult to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and also during the pandemic, a lot of places were like, you can't use your own bags because, it's not safe. So I'm like, which is it? So it was just a lot. Anyways, the point is, life is getting harder for people. Not me. Okay, I'll say God is good. I work my ass off. So, God is good. But, life, they're intending to make life more difficult. And how they're doing that is, I was going to let y'all know later, but I'll let you know now, they're getting rid of the middle class, okay? There's not going to be any more middle class. Everybody's going to be poor. Get rich or die trying, okay? Get rich or die trying. All right? And these are the little ways that they get rid of them, right? The disappearance of the plastic bag is the disappearance of the middle class. Okay? Which it doesn't mean much to me because I was born poor. I was born in abject poverty. So, the fact that I'm doing decent today, grace of God. Is like, I'm not gonna fight. People was like, the middle class. I don't know nothing about being y'all. Y'all try to make me feel bad about myself when I was a kid because I was poor. That's all I know about y'all. And when you get around people with a lot of money, you know what I'm saying? People with a lot of money, they don't act like that. They don't act like that, They're not like, I'm super rich. Like, they don't do that. They're just like, hey, what's up? So, like, totally cool. They'll pay for it. If they ask you to do something, they'll pay for it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so there goes the middle class with your plastic bags, and again, I'm just thinking about how hard everything is for poor people, for Black folk already, and I'm like, oh, this is just another thing. I'm telling you right now, Black folk ain't gonna want to pay for these $2.50 for no bag. A lot of Black folk gonna be like, okay, forget it. I'm just gonna go, carry it out in my arms. Like, this is crazy. Um, Let's continue reading the article from New York Mag. Within a week, Pasco transferred ownership of the house to an LLC established in Delaware by the law firm Perkins Coie. The maneuver ensured that the ultimate identity of the property's new owner was not disclosed to the public. After the transfer, Black Lives Matter leaders began using the house in various ways, including as a set for recording videos and staying overnight when they didn't feel safe at their own homes. The property's upkeep, cleaning, pool maintenance, security has been handled by a loose mixture of people working for Black Lives Matter, Danie and Patrisse Consulting, the Bowers Consulting firm, or other entities. Bowers, who also serves as Black Lives Matter Global Network's deputy executive director, has in the past overseen payments to Trap Heals from entities that Cullors leads, including an $86,000 fee from a nonprofit called Reform LA Jails and a nearly $150,000 fee from the Black Lives Matter Political Action Committee. On the secure messaging platform Signal, in a text chat named BLM Security Hub, around 24 participants from Black Lives Matter Global Network, Bauer Consulting, Danie and Patrisse Consulting, and various other organizations and companies commingle. One conversation from June 2021, after Cullors announced her resignation, concerns her assistant confronting a man who had been found snooping around the premises. Paul Cullors, Patrisse's brother, whose title is head of physical security. See how she gave all her family jobs? So she didn't make jobs with all that money. They didn't make jobs for Black people to have. They just give, this is what Black leaders, this is what Black politicians do. They just give their family jobs. Put my brother in security. Put my baby daddy on this. What? How is this helping Black people? And the people don't have the nerve to be like, oh, you don't believe her? No, I don't believe her. I believe she thinks that money is hers to spend the way she wants. I believe that she saw this as an opportunity to help her family. And I've told you guys a million times, these politicians don't care about you. Y'all think they got into office to help you. I told y'all a million times, politicians get into office to help themselves, to help their families. They don't get into office to help you. I don't care what they say. Very few of them that actually care about y'all. Did you know that? Did you know you have to take your own life into your own hands? And stop waiting looking for a savior? I keep telling y'all. I'm supposed to ignore all of this because Black people are supposed to vote Democrat. I'm not doing what somebody tells me to do. You fucking kidding me? I'm going to look up all the information and make the best choice. That's why they get mad about when you open your options, when you open up your dating options, Black women. You were told to do something. Bitch, I don't give a... Okay, I know how I get. I know how I get. Who are you to tell? You ain't going to tell me nothing. Believe that. Especially when I know better. You telling me to do something and I don't think it's the best idea. I don't think it sounds great. I think I need to look into this. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, how long have I been on here? All right, guys, I'm going to try to read the rest of this and wrap it up. Let's see. It's just unbelievable. This is factual information here. And people are telling you, why are you asking questions? What the hell do I owe the Democratic Party? The Democratic Party didn't do shit for me and mine. I was born like most Black people, most Black Americans in this country spend 5-6 generations in poverty. Did you know that? And I said, I'll be damned to be another statistic. When I was growing up, they were like, Black women, you're going to be a Black teenage mom. I was like, oh, hell no, the fuck I won't. It's so many black women will come on here, I'm abstinent. Bitch, you 40 years old with 6 kids. Nobody cares. I mean, good for you. Good for your mental health. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's great. Okay, that's great. But I don't have to be abstinent because you abstinent. I was abstinent for many years. Well, y'all wanted to say you can't tell a kid not to go out and hook up with somebody because a teenager gonna do what a teenager want to do. I didn't do what I wanted to do. I mean, what I wanted to do was to break generational curses. That's all I wanted. And I did. And it's so funny because some little dusty roach is gonna come onto my damn channel talking about some and that's why you fat, and because I was talking about his daddy. Because I was talking about his daddy, ashes to ashes and dust to dust. I mean, that shit was like Satan came up and said, shut the fuck up. Satan came up and was like, shut the hell up. I'm tired of this shit. So anyways, so he's calling me fat, right? Like, surprise, surprise. Like he's anybody. I don't drill y'all on this channel because I'm kind of, okay? I don't drill you dusty motherfuckers like that because honestly, when I go into spaces, like I said, black men where I live, black men that I interact with, they're doing well. They don't have lives and it's very rare that I see them interact with them. But when I do, obviously they're in a higher class, right? I'm just being honest, right? They're not on YouTube trying to argue and try to, you're not gonna make me feel bad. I'm fat for a reason because the food is good, baby. The food is good. I live well. And I worked hard to be fit for many years. And right now I'm working on my healing. And part of that is nutrition. But at the same time, look, I'm going to eat what I want to eat right now. That's what I'm doing right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I have the option to do that. So no, I'm not the fittest woman in the world. But even when I was fit, then y'all would come to the channel and be like, oh, you a race trainer. Because my entire life, I've been doing more work than you motherfuckers. Y'all made up a rule that black women are race traders if they date interracially or marry interracially. Y'all made that shit up. But all your male leaders dated and married interracially. A lot of the leaders y'all following right now are dated and married interracially. Y'all sound really fucking stupid. And then see, the first thing they'll do is one drop anybody in. They'll give the one drops more respect than they give black women. I've seen it. This is the backwards mentality. Color struck. Bruh. You don't have any fucking basic rights, bruh. I was watching a public freakout video, and this black guy turns on his camera, and he's like, they're kicking me out of Planet Fitness because my cup is too big to fit in the cup holder. No, they're kicking you out because you're black and they can. And they can say whatever they want to get your ass out of there. Because that was the bargaining deal for poor white people in this country. That's the bargaining deal for anyone that comes to this country. You might not have much, but what you will have is a system in place that you can treat black people who've been here for hundreds of years like trash. You can do that. You can live off of them. You can thrive off of them. You can use them to your amusement. You can dispose of them. You can treat them however you want. That's the deal. And people come here, what y'all think the American dream is? I know black folk like, American dream? Do y'all know that there's something called an American dream? And you can come to this country and you can disenfranchise and thrive off the oppression of the native populations of this country. And that's it. You'll get the American dream. That'll give you a little bit of money to go to Target. That'll give you a little bit of money to get a Netflix subscription. And the country is set up so that black people are always going to be the ones that have to be in the worst position. They'll be the first fired, the last hired. We got a little system at play here. And when you're feeling bad about the fact that you're poor in America, you can just kick one of these motherfuckers out of your shop for no fucking reason. Did you know that? And then this little dumbass little cockroach gonna come on my page talking about some, you fat. You're probably dirty, dusty, ugly, teeth missing, no health insurance, and you worried about me being fat. It's tragic. Anyways, it's so fucking pathetic. And it's like, listen, y'all gotta understand, nobody gives a fuck what you have to say. If that, which one's fresh, which one's fit podcast dude getting dismissed by that Australian podcast couple didn't show you, nobody takes y'all seriously on a world stage. You over here still being lied to by your leaders and these politicians. They're still convincing you that you got some, they're like, you're going to get voting rights. Didn't we already get voting rights? They're like, you got to fight for those voting rights. Why am I fighting for something that we already have? Why are y'all constantly telling me you're supposed to be doing something for me? I'm putting your ass in office. I'm giving you power, prestige, money. And you're telling me I got to fight for the same shit that my ancestors was fighting for 60 years ago? Is that what you're telling me? And y'all line up and vote for him. And y'all line up and vote for him. I said, well, the other party is make your own party. Get together and be strong. Oh, but y'all can't because y'all want to fight. And when it comes to that too, y'all want to fight. Y'all don't understand unity unless it's in dysfunction. I keep telling you that. One conversation from June 2021, after Cullors announced her resignation, concerns her assistant confronting a man who had been found snooping around the premises. Paul Cullors, Patrisse's brother, whose title is head of physical security, updated the group on the situation. Earlier entries in the Signal chat show him performing the same role for properties Cullors purchased with her own funds, which she has said came from book and media deals. Other internal records indicate Cullors' mother was approved for a cleaning job at campus, and that Cullors' sister assigned the same kind of non-disclosure agreement as other employees at the property, although it's not clear if the sister worked there. So she's listing her family members as employees of Black Lives Matter so they can all get a nice check coming in. A nice check coming in. That's what it sounds like, allegedly. Those are the conclusions people are going to draw. So now you're in a country that's very competitive. Everybody believes that there's something special in the atmosphere that makes this a country with American dreams, right? And the American dream is at your expense if you didn't know it. And they're looking at this organization. They're looking at the mismanagement of the funds or, like what's going on here. They're looking at the lack of transparency. And they're like, I thought you guys were fighting against racism. Why are these people like living it up? They're looking for any reason to hate you anyways. It's a good cushy deal here. All you got to do is not like people with dark skin and you win. And then, Black people are colonized and still to this day enslaved all over the world. I think it's so funny in these diaspora wars when people want to say, oh, descendants of American chattel slavery and why y'all talking about slavery and Black people, but then we all slaves, right? Which is it? You got Black people that are enslaved to this day, right now. Trafficked. Right now. You're being trafficked, enslaved, colonized, indoctrinated. Free your mind. Hey, free your mind, please. Stand up. Okay? Free your mind, please. If you never asked a question, ask a question today. If you never said no, say no today. If you never subscribe to DanieSteel, subscribe to DanieSteel today. And start asking the questions that matter. You can come here and call names and call me fat, but the bottom line is I don't even care when y'all do it because I know how broke you are. I know how much your life sucks. And I know I'm the last of your problems, and you're certainly the last of mine. And no, you're not going to hurt my feelings when I know you broke. You're not. People doing better than you aren't the ones criticizing you. That's just the way life goes. And if I was a Black woman, you know, they let them go, what's this interracial couple doing? What are Black people doing for themselves? Y'all haven't demanded that these white women that y'all been marrying into these families for centuries, for generations, y'all have not demanded that they do anything. But the first thing you want to know when you see a Black woman interracially coupled, oh, and what you doing for Black people? What are you doing for Black people? What you doing for your family? What are you doing for yourself? Little basic shit. Cullors has also used the campus house in ways that are probably not in line with what Black Lives Matter donors intended for their dollars. Back in April 2021, Cullors uploaded a video to her personal YouTube channel titled, I Tried Baking a Family Recipe for the First Time, Intense. The first in an intended series called Patrisse Tries, in which she would attempt unfamiliar tasks. In the nearly 13-minute clip, she prepares a peach cobbler with her aunt at the campus kitchen island, making use of its soapstone countertops and high-end appliances. Other videos from Cullors' personal YouTube channel also appear to match images of the house's interior shown in real estate listings. It's an example of how Cullors acted as both the head of Black Lives Matter Global Network and cultivated a lucrative public profile at the same time when she quit the organization. She said it was to focus on media deals she'd signed with the book publisher and Warner Bros. A lawyer for Cullors declined to comment on the record. Nonprofit experts say that any apparent intermingling of resources among Black Lives Matter, Cullors, and outside entities might jeopardize the charity's tax-exempt status. Lloyd Hitachi, Mayer, a professor at the University of Notre Dame Law School, who specializes in nonprofits, said the details of the house's management deserve closer scrutiny. If there are problems with the group's tax filing, there could be civil and criminal liabilities for the people and organizations involved. He said that investigations by state and federal agencies could be warranted. They're all indicators that the money may not be going where it's supposed to be going, he says. Other conversations on the Black Lives Matter Security Hub chat show efforts to monitor social media for negative mentions of Black Lives Matter Global Network, with members using their influence with the platforms to have such remarks removed. It's currently not possible to share the post article on Cullors' home purchases on Facebook because the site's parent company, Meta, has labeled the content abusive. At other points, Bowers and his associates direct a private investigator to look into Black Lives Matter Global Network detractors and journalists, including me. Not me, but the writer of the New York Mag.com thing. So they're using their political allegiances in the Democratic Party to shut down any criticism of them, and trying to say, oh, And Patrisse was crying in the video, right? And she's like, my family, I'm so worried about my family. And that's why she moved out to the suburbs to get around white people. Because she knows what it takes to make sure your family's safe, right? Resources, security, wealth, financial flow. That's what it takes. That's why she did the Black Lives Matter thing. It wasn't because she was trying to free Black people or save Black people. Okay, she wanted her family is set up Gucci. So she's crying and she's worried about her family, but everybody else, hey, oh well, right? But she's like, you guys need to be worried about me and my family, right? No, you need to worry about your own family. You need to worry about yourself and your family, not her and her family. This is how these Black leaders, this is how these Black elitists, these Black politicians, this is how they get you guys to waste your time and effort. And they're already stealing so much from you. You're not supposed to vote for somebody for fucking free. They have to give you incentives. They have to give you a reason. They have to give you tangibles. Stop giving your vote away. So I'm going to skip a little bit of this article. It's very long, and continue. Tori Russell, a prominent activist in Ferguson, Missouri, said that he felt depressed when he learned about the California property. It's a waste of resources, he said. While Black Lives Matter at the national level is flush, he's seen local activists fall into poverty and become homeless. Last year, Russell put out a video with Michael Brown Sr., whose son was killed by a police officer in August 2014, demanding money from Black Lives Matter Global Network to help people living in Ferguson. And he's since been struggling to raise $1.2 million for a community center. They shouldn't be walking around, no Black people, no Black communities, he said of the organization's leaders. They should be somewhere in shame. Okay, so that's exactly what I pointed out. Look, I've said before, I live in a gated community. To be fair to me, it's pretty diverse. Okay, it's pretty diverse. It's actually like probably like half Asian. But I also didn't create a nonprofit called Black Lives Matter where I like use the deaths of Black people to funnel in funds so that me and my family are taken care of. Do you see the difference? Okay. I'm not on here talking about some there should be no police in Black communities, and then I run out to the suburbs. No. I'm saying, hey, don't over police Black communities and don't criminalize Black people, but protect Black people as the peace officers y'all supposed to be. How about that? You know what I'm saying? Like, Black communities need protection, just like any other community needs protection. I'm not saying abolish the police and then running to my mansion with my white security guard. Though I do have security on deck as well, you know, not outside the house, but it's outside the gates. Outside the gates, okay? So let's take a look at, again, so this is the video of them on the patio. The article concludes with saying, in the patio video marking the anniversary of George Floyd's death, the conversation among Cullors, Garza, and Abdullah turned to the people who have faulted their leadership online. Who the F are you? You ain't done shit, Abdullah said. Garza added that she discounted criticism from people she doesn't know personally. I don't need to be accountable to you, she said. I don't know what accountability looks like with people that I don't know and have never talked to. Cullors told the women at the table, my therapist told me, she said, what you have been through, most people would not survive. And I don't feel like I'm just surviving. I feel like I'm really thriving. She did it, y'all. She did it, y'all. She took care of her and her family, just like all these Black leaders and these Black politicians and these Black movement leaders be doing. She did it, y'all. Wow. And I'm supposed to just agree with and go with everything she says because Black people that want to vote Democrat told me to. I don't give up. I don't do what they just tell me to do. They ain't paying my bills. They ain't helping my family. I'm going to play some of the clip now of this video.
And, you know, at the same time, it was also weird for me. I didn't go to one protest last summer. Really? Not one, honey. I wanted to be in movement in a different role. And I just...
Okay, so that's Garza in the middle there, Alicia Garza, saying, she said, I didn't go to one protest last summer. So while y'all was out there dealing with the dogs in the heat and stuff, she didn't go to not one. She just wanted to be in movement in a different way. But they're like, we're entitled to all this money because we've done so much work. It's a bunch of people that have gone out every year and done protests. I went to multiple protests at the beginning of the movement. I also didn't go out last summer. If you follow me on Patreon, you would know that, because I was trying to stay safe in every way possible. And it was not safe out there. They didn't make sure with all those resources that they had that it was a safe space. Now, multiple hate groups can go through marching in a city and they will be escorted by police. And instead, when you march for Black Lives Matter, the chances are that police will be against you. They're not going to be helping you. And there will be other groups of people out there looking to incite violence on you. This is what happens when you march for Black Lives Matter. But they got all of that money. And they're saying, well, if you get arrested for just being out there the way that you do, we might have some money to bail you out. Like, okay, that ain't shit. Like, what is that?
Just made a commitment to myself, just like around this concept of rest. What I wanted to do was lean into what I thought was on the other side of protests, right? Which always happens. You have this ebb and flow. And when the protests die down, you always get that conversation about, well, what rules are you changing? That's right. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what actually comes out of this? And so I think the other thing, though, that happened was that I got super overwhelmed. You know, I think the rediscovery. People are like, what is this Black Lives Matter thing? This is amazing. How long has this thing been around? Black women's no idea. You know, and I just remember, like, I would get stuff and I'd turn over my phone. I'd be like, no, child, no, I don't want to do that again. Yes. Right? And we have a different story to tell now, you know? So I've been sitting in that a lot, but I also started thinking a lot more about my own emotional health, you know, and really saying no to stuff and being resolute in the no. Because I started to like have anxiety attacks, actually. Like, it was so odd because all that attention again brings up all this stuff for people, right? And y'all, I don't have to tell y'all, but it brings up a lot of stuff for people, and they lay it at your feet and go respond to it. I'm like, I'm just minding my own business. That's literally what I'm doing. I'm trying to stay hydrated. I'm trying to stay in my lane, and I'm trying to mind my business. Like, why are we prone to this? So it just forced me to like take it serious, and I'm so glad. You know, I started riding my bike all the time. I love me some Pelly. You know, so I'm feeling good, and I'm feeling like we're winning. We're winning. We are winning. How do you know we're winning? You know, girl, we've changed this conversation so many times. And I know we're winning because it's not just a cultural shift anymore. It's, it is.
So we're winning, guys. Did you know that? Wow, that's crazy. We're winning. We're winning. And you know, it's so funny because I'll see Black people and they'll get to the suburbs and they'll be like, we made it. Have you ever seen it going? I'm like, how you made it? You living around people that don't want you there. When they see you, they think, oh, great, the whole neighborhood's going down. Now I gotta live around them. You know why Candace Owens has a different experience? Look what Candace Owens does to make these people comfortable with her being around. Someone just said in the comments, right? She downplays colorism. She downplays racism. A lot of Black women that want to talk about dating interracially or leveling up, they'll do that a lot. I've seen downplaying colorism or racism. You know, statistics don't lie. The numbers don't lie. Dark-skinned Black women have a harder experience when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to education, when it comes to the workplace, when it comes to marriage. Dark-skinned Black women have a harder experience. Now, did that stop me from getting married? And I got good health insurance, and I got no, you know, of course you put your mind to it, and you can get whatever you want out of this life. But it's not easy, and it's not promised. It's not guaranteed. It's hard as hell to obtain. It's hard as hell to obtain. And to ignore that, I'm not going to ignore that, okay? I can guarantee you I'm not going to ignore that. I've told y'all, living where I live, it's like an episode of Get Out. So you lose the fear of, a lot of the physical interactions of living in Blackistan, of living in the hood. There's a lot of physical interactions that you no longer have to worry about. But those microaggressions, the contempt that they will not drop. They will not drop it. I just told you. That was the payoff. Yeah, you might be here, you might be poor, but you can treat them like shit. That's the payoff. And you got girls sitting up there being like, they love us, and when you get to the suburbs, they gotta treat you like a princess. Like, I'm like, you must not live in the suburbs. You must not live in the suburbs. It's like an episode of Get Out when I'm outside. I'm walking my dog. Everybody slowly gets out of their house. They'll stand on their lawns, put their hands on their hips, glare. It's been so many times my husband's been like, hello, good evening. Hi. And I'm not Candace Owens. They know good and damn well they're not going to turn on TV and see me sitting there saying every talking point that they've ever wanted to say. She has to sell her literal soul so that those people allow her to be around them. I'm going to take up space wherever the fuck I want because my people have been here for hundreds of years and that's my God-given right. I'm going to take up space wherever I want. But it takes a toll. Having to deal with that your whole damn life. Which is one of the reasons that I spoke with you guys about, possibly becoming an expat one day. Because I'm more than what America says I'm supposed to be for them. I'm not here to coddle these poor people's, broken self-esteem that they have to live in America and they don't get to have the American dream of having a bunch of money. So, they can take out their aggression on me. Nah, fuck, I don't think so. Y'all made that into a system of laws and they won't break it. They won't focus on that. They won't focus on re-education. Instead, they're criminalizing proper education, calling it CRT if you discuss racism. You see the little games they pull? So now you can't even talk about, even though you can talk about a whole bunch of other social justice issues in schools, they're like, don't let them talk about racism. I mean, they already did that. When I was growing up, they didn't talk about racism. They were like, slavery happened. I don't know, somebody was mean, somebody got hurt. But anyways, moving on. Next thing you know, these black people were causing a scene. And remember, they were slaves. Now they're causing a scene in the civil rights movement. Oh my goodness, we had to kill their leaders. And, now, they're in the hood causing problems. They're super predators. The end. Like, that was Black history. They taught it in an hour. They was doing that back when I was in school. So they're determined to miseducate Americans about Black history. They are determined. The media, that's all a fabrication. And they're determined to do that because, again, that's the payoff. Yeah, you can come here. Yeah, you're not going to get a house with a pool. But if you get into a dispute with a Black person, you'll likely win in court. If you're a doctor, if you're a nurse, and you don't like Black people, you can treat them bad at work. You can do that. You're not going to get a house with a pool, but you can do that. Hey, if you see a Black woman breathing, her breathing is off, and she's pregnant, you can ignore it. You can do that and feel better that you don't have a pool. You can do that. You're living in a country under those dynamics. And you want to come to my channel and tell me, you fat. I'm going to be fat till I'm not. Just like when I wasn't before. And you're going to be broken, disenfranchised for life. For life. Y'all think that's cute? Dumbass dudes, too. Absolutely dumbass dudes coming and saying this stupid stuff. Anyone that ever says anything stupid on my channel, I know they're broke. I know they're stupid. I know it. I can feel the broke, negative, low vibrational energy pouring off of them. I know a conquered mind when I see one. Now, I got health insurance. I got ability to go places and move in very lovely ways. And somebody will come to me and be like, you didn't do what we tell black women to do, so you conquered. No. What you're telling black women to do ain't shit. See, y'all want a mule because they want y'all to be at the bottom. So you got a group of people on the bottom, and the people that are supposed to be leading those group of people, they want somebody underneath them too. Enter how you treat black women, right? I'm not going to be up under you because you know you up under everybody else. Now, fuck that shit. I'm not going to play by your rules. I'm not going to live the way you tell me to live. I'm going to live what's best for me. And when I go into a coffee shop, they can't just kick me out. I'm somebody that people know. You will end up with a lawsuit on your hands. I have the time and the money. When y'all get fired, y'all get online. Oh, they fired me. I'm so tired of this and that. If I get fired wrongfully, I sue. I invest resources. I invest time so that they can't do it to the next black person. And then you want to come to me and talk about something, you didn't do this, so you didn't do it. You ain't going to shame me into shit. So that shit don't work on me. It don't work. I've survived too much. It don't work. All the shit that this country is throwing at black folk, it got thrown at me. I survived it. So a troll don't mean shit. A troll don't mean shit. Because I promise you, you couldn't have survived with this. I've survived. No, you couldn't have. And then thrived over it. And then put a few hundred on it. Okay? Twerked it, flipped it, and reversed it. You couldn't have made it that. Okay? So it's just, invest your time into other things. Stop trying to break down, y'all think y'all have some power. Somebody told you somewhere like, you have influence over black women, and if you say this, you're going to hurt their feelings. You don't hurt my feelings. You don't hurt my feelings. You don't have any power. You know what hurts my feelings? Losing a job. That will hurt my feelings. Losing an investment. Losing an opportunity. Not a troll. I know y'all hurt. Because everybody can see how y'all have to live. Nobody else has to live like that. Y'all got this British woman that you guys, a lot of the Dusties on here follow, like she's like a demigod or something. And Chris Logic exposed that she's actually some other woman, exposed who this woman really is, right? You ever been to England? Their life ain't nothing like yours. Their lives are nothing like yours here. And y'all following her talking about something. This is what I'm saying? So I'm supposed to feel bad when they'll put a biracial British woman on a pedestal, and I'm supposed to feel bad. There's some way that they're going to make me feel like I'm doing something bad, right? That's going to work, right? Their lives are nothing like your lives here. You got it bad. You got it bad. And a bunch of dudes that'll put one drops, and you lost the rap game. You gave the rap game away. You gave hip hop away. You lost rock and roll. You lost country music. You give it all away, jumping up and down because somebody wants to wear your hairstyle, pushing non-black women onto pedestals in your community, then talk about so you black women ain't going nowhere. Like what? Who the hell is you? Move out my way. Get out my face. You can't make rules when you don't do shit. So they're really proud of themselves. It's the hypocrisy for me. It really is. I think that black people are the most giving people in this country. I think that's great. That we're so, we can be so capable of warmth and giving. But why we can't do that with each other? Why none of that warmth and giving goes to black women, dark-skinned black women and girls? Because it don't. I mean, we've seen videos. How many times I've worked with black children for years. You compliment a little dark-skinned black girl and she'll almost cry. There's been little dark-skinned black girls. I stopped my whole goddamn class so I could just hold her and tell her how beautiful she was. Have everybody sit around and let's talk about the things that we, love to do and our favorite this and that so we can get this little girl just a little bit more comfortable for today. I'm telling little black boys, you're so smart. I love your locks. Wow, you're smartest guy in the class. What are y'all doing? Online, elevating one drops, elevating non-black women, talk about some black women, you better do this and you better take me seriously and you better submit and you better make me feel good. I'm not gonna make you be able to feel good your way out of this. All right? You got an organization, got 100 mil plus. Didn't give y'all a dime. Everybody want to know where the money at. All they know is, hey, hundreds of millions of dollars have gone in your name, black people. So I don't have to give you reparations, and I don't have to do anything for you, black people, because look at all that money y'all got for Black Lives Matter. And I'm not supposed to ask them where the money went? When I got random people coming up to me being like, hey, where did Black Lives Matter money go? You're telling me about reparations. Well, where's that Black Lives Matter money at, huh? I can't make you feel good out of that, bruh. Out of the fact that you can walk into a coffee shop and they kick your ass out. They don't even let you sit down and have a cup of coffee, yo. I can't make you feel good out of that. You gotta fight for your rights. You gotta fight for your power. You gotta get educated. You gotta start taking shit seriously. Stop smoking weed all day and lean and playing video games. You gotta get educated and you gotta know the law of the land. And you gotta take a business class or two. I can't live a mediocre life to make you feel like your life isn't where it's at. Y'all know where it's at. Excuse me. Done cough myself to a frenzy. You see how ridiculous it is? And a lot of the people talking about this stuff online right now, they're doing it for attention. Y'all see, I don't talk about this stuff 24/7. Because y'all don't take stuff seriously. Y'all don't take nothing serious. A lot of people that talk about this stuff, they do it for clout. A lot of people that talk about this stuff, they're mentally ill. A lot of people that talk about this stuff, they're not serious about that life. A lot of people that are leading these conversations, they don't know what it's like to live as a poor black person one day in America. Me and my husband, we're very nice, friendly people. I love to laugh. I love to make people laugh. I love to have a good time. But over the last few years, my husband has noticed, right, that a lot of the friendliness that I had naturally within me, I don't have anymore. Well, that's what it looks like, right? And it's absolutely not true. What he wasn't realizing was I was giving it to him. Amen? I was giving that to him. That overly friendliness that I would do with everyone, I decided to consolidate into the people that I care about. So he'd be like, oh, you know, that lady seemed really friendly and you didn't seem like you wanted to be friendly with her. I don't have to be friendly with her. If she wants to be friendly, she can be friendly. I'm not a person to mess with. And when I interact with you, I need you to understand that. Period. Period. If I'm at the hospital and you want me to take this test or that test, why do you want me to take the test? You're going to have to explain it to me, because what you're not going to do is send me on a bunch of tests so you can get a bunch of money. We're not doing that. If I'm hiring you for a job, you need to do the job. I'm not like, do the job. But I'm like, okay, let's do this, 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 and that. I have a very matter-of-fact tone. Like the one I'm using right now. I have a very matter-of-fact tone. I'm not like, hi, okay, yeah, that's great. Go Tigers. Like, I don't do that shit no more. Because I don't have to. It was a waste of my time. It was a waste of my energy. You know, I see so many black women and they'll be like, I'll say hi to people and they don't say hi to me. Stop saying hi to people. Stop wasting your time. If people want to say hi to you, they'll say hi to you. I don't say hi to people. I don't look at people when I'm out. I don't look for a smile, nothing. If you don't smile at me, I don't care. I'm like, oh my God, you smiled at the other people, but you didn't smile at me. I don't care, because I'm not going to smile at you. Focus your energy. This is a survival game out here. And everyone's making their channels being like, oh my God, you can live in luxury and splendor. And all you have to do is just level up. And five simple ways. Leveling up. This takes your whole life. This takes all of your energy. It takes everything you got to level up in this game of life. It ain't gonna be no 5 easy steps. Nah, I never go to the store without my own bags. Right. Gotta have your own bags. Ola says, I think a lot of black women agree with some of Candace's talking points, but I think BWE spaces have helped immensely. I'm curious to see if she does want more involvement, what would it entail? I don't think Candace Owens cares about BWE spaces, just to be honest. I don't know if that's what you were asking or saying, but as a dark-skinned woman, my skin is shamed more in black spaces rather than white spaces. I've never been around white people and got approached with, you better stay out the sun this summer. You know, black people are not a passive-aggressive people. That's one of the reasons why black people continuously find themselves in the position that they're in, is because we live in a very passive-aggressive oriented society, right? And white people, white culture is very passive aggressive. And, you know, I mean, they were so passive aggressive in the UK, I didn't even know what was going on. I was like, whoa, I was just enjoying it. I was like, hey, at this level of passive aggressiveness, I just love it, you know? And I think they just have a different way of seeing race over there in general. But than America. America is just, it's all toxic. It's all gaslighting. It's insane. It really is. It's probably one of the most volatile places because, you know, historically, people cannot live in harmony with people that are not like them. That is why historically, people live with people that are like them. It's very difficult. I mean, you can barely get along with your sister, you know, but different groups of people are expected to get along with one another, right? And, you know, in Germany, they did a lot of re-education work on the population so that they would understand the impact that the Holocaust and anti-Semitic hatred had on the people, right? They did a lot of re-education work. They put a lot of funds into reversing all of that harm. America has never done that. America has never done that. They killed Martin Luther King and then they hung a poster up of him in your grade school class. They're like, yeah, that's the guy we killed. Ha! Yeah, you don't want to end up like him, do you? But yeah, well, now it's time to sing a song. Okay? We shall overcome, right? They taught you that song, right? And then they told your black ass to shut up. Okay? I mean, the hypocrisy, the gaslighting, the indoctrination is very real. America loves to talk about countries that they're like, these countries indoctrinate their people. If you think that you're in America and you learned and you got an American education and you're watching American media and you're watching American entertainment and that you're not being indoctrinated, if you're sitting around foolishly taking all of that stuff in and you think you're not being indoctrinated, well, you just, you're being indoctrinated, okay? You know what I'm saying? And it's so easy to do, especially to black people. If you look statistically, a lot of racist people will say, oh, why are they making black people in this movie and black people in this TV show? They shouldn't be here. They weren't here. Like, none of you would be here without black people being here. So black people were definitely here. They might not have been, largely in that area of the world. They might not have historically been in that area of the world, but you know what is happening historically? Okay, black people are the ones that are watching TV. Black people watch TV more than any group of people. Y'all sit and watch anything, and then you sit there complaining and be like, they only show this about us on TV, they only show that. So stop watching it. I didn't see the kind of black women that I wanted to see on TV. I stopped watching the shit. Y'all won't stop watching it, but you want to complain. Who does that? You want to complain. You want to, oh, these schools, they're not doing this and they're not doing that. So make your own schools. Why would you send Malcolm X said, why would you send your child to be taught by your enemy? You got all these white women teaching your kids that don't like your kids. A lot of them. I had a few good teachers, won't lie. But most of them were like the teachers that black kids get. Ready to adultify and criminalize your child. So they feel better about not having a pool. And you're going to send your child to these schools where these people are telling your kid, the only yard you're going to be strolling in is the prison yard. And you'll send your child there? And I had some girl be like, well, where am I supposed to send my kid? Bitch, don't get mad at me because you had a kid before you had a thought. You're supposed to think and then have your child. I got a bunch of options where I'm sending mines. Don't be mad at me because I stated the facts. These schools are indoctrinating your children to criminalize them, to adultify them. You know what I learned in school? That we're going to take white girls' words over yours. That's what I learned. I went to an all-girls school. So who do you think they was treating like shit? Why they want to sit there and be like, all of us women. Well, who was the women being treated like shit when it was time for people to get treated like shit? The poor black women. My poor black ass. So I'm not just going to willy-nilly send my kid to a private school, neither. And if I have to homeschool my child, that's what I will do. And I will structure my life so that that's possible. Or I won't have a child. I'm not going to have a child because I want to have a purpose, because that's what a lot of black women do. I'm going to have a purpose. And then I'm going to have a child. I'm not going to bring a child into this world and be like, oh, that's how they did it for me. That's how they did it for me. I told you before, I called a relative of mine that had raised me, a great aunt. And I was like, why did you abuse me? And she's like, well, that's what they did to me. I don't give a fuck, you old snaggletooth witch. I said me. Why did you touch me, ho? Why did you put your hands on me? You big fat old witch. Why? Why did you do it? Why did you do it? So when I meet strangers, I can say, hi, how are you? I'm not like sitting there with this energy like, my aunt gave me a whooping. I don't know what to do with it. No, I went right to her old ass. And she'll be going out like Kevin Samuels. I called my deadbeat daddy. Y'all want to act like y'all don't got deadbeat daddies. I called my deadbeat daddy. Okay? Called that nigga up. I was like, what's up? Because it's the first and last time y'all gonna hear from me. Why you did what you did? What's up? He's like, I'm like, you old raggedy ass nigga, man. You ain't shit. Fuck out of here, man. I was like, look. This is what you gotta know. This is what you gotta know. I would never choose to be around somebody like you. You're very weird. To me, you're not a part of me at all. I cannot believe that I could be related to someone who wouldn't take care of their child. I cannot believe that. My dog got more toys than I had growing up. My dog. You know what I'm saying? So take back your power. Confront the people who have hurt you. You're an adult now. Take back your power. Stop letting people tell you what to do. Educate yourself. When you get done listening to me, look up some of the stuff that's been going on with this Black Lives Matter situation for yourself and make your own informed choice. Don't just listen to what I said and be like, oh, she said this. No, go ahead and look it up some more. That's what I want for us. I'm going to do a segment on this later as well, but there are a lot of Black children that have died in New Orleans, in the Mississippi. Black kids die so often of drowning incidents. We need to learn how to swim. And the key to floating that I've learned in my swim lesson so far, I'm still working on it, baby. I'm still working on it. But the key to floating is to breathe. You can't freak out or you will sink because you're losing air. As long as your lungs have air, you will stay above the water. You have to breathe. You have to control yourself. Yeah, you can get loud and passionate. You know, I like to get loud and passionate now. Okay. But I want us to start being more strategic, having more control, being more interested in education. That's what I want for us. If we do nothing else, I want us advocating for our health rights, advocating for our children, advocating for our women, advocating for our girls. And you can't advocate from a position of no power. And I don't mean just societal power. I mean within yourself. So yeah, I might be a lot less friendly. I was too friendly before. Under some idea that if I was super friendly, you guys wouldn't be racist to me. Like that shit don't work. It don't work. As welcoming as people are to Candace Owens, there are people out there that just wouldn't want her around them, period, because that's just how their racism works. There's other people, their racism works. You can be around me as long as you say those points that I want to hear and reassure me that you're the right kind of Black. You can be around me, sure. That's how some people's racism is set up. But there's people whose racism is set up, she could even be on their property. Okay? So what is all of that shit that she doing for?
driving new conversations about rules and how the rules are being made and who's making the rules and what the rules are and why they are that way. And I know it because we've been in 8 years of these conversations now.
Right.
And that's a good thing. I think sometimes people feel like, I've used this metaphor with you before, that like change is like a snack machine. So like you put your quarter in and you press like B6 and you get your Snickers bar.
Right.
It's not like that.
Yeah.
There's lots of, sometimes the thing gets stuck. Sometimes it gives you the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes
all the shit falls through
and you're like,
yeah.
It has been, I think, both equally powerful, invigorating, exhilarating, as well as devastating,
Yes.
traumatizing.
Yes.
From Melina being freaking having the cop show up to your home, swatted, and
With my kids.
with your kids, and getting to anyway, like calling me over and over again, and I missed the call, and I go on your Instagram, and I'm like getting the chills just thinking about it, to the freaking right attacking you and me, and that's how
FBI?
the FBI.
That was crazy.
that was wild.
Like, you can't make this shit up.
No, you really cannot.
And I just think that, in the midst of last year in particular, I did feel that feeling of like, we're here.
Right.
Like, we're in this moment and we have to stay in it and we have to press on. And we may not get this opening again. This time around, I felt more prepared on multiple fronts. I felt more prepared around, gaslighting around defense. I felt more prepared around our own security. We got the security stuff, both cyber and physical, on point this time around. I still think it's crazy that we used to travel alone,
Girl,
to tiny little towns. I just don't even understand.
nobody cared.
Nobody
cared about us.
Nobody still cares. She's like, I can't believe we used to travel alone without a security detail. You can still be traveling alone without security detail. None of the other activists got to have security details. They're losing their lives. They're living in poverty and homelessness. And these women are patting themselves on the back because a bunch of wealthy liberals told them that it was okay to. I'm sorry, but that's trash. Wealthy liberals, stop thinking you can speak for Black people. Oh, and the glee and the, I can't play the video, because it's someone else's video so that you guys can see all of that's going on. But they're just so, just proud of themselves,
Nobody cared about us.
No, she's like, nobody cares still. I promise you. If I walk past you, I wouldn't say nothing but where the money at. That's all I would say. Where the money at?
I look back and I'm like at 2015, 2016, we were all just traveling alone, like not really,
Not even checking in and saying I landed.
exactly right. Just being like regular, like,
Or looking up when you're in the airport line and seeing your face on Fox News.
right.
And being like, I'm not safe right now. What am I doing?
So that was different this time. That was different, and I also think our larger movement had a collectivity to it that was different because we have been practicing together. I think though, for me, the hardest moments have been the right-wing media machine.
The right-wing media machine. No, everybody wants y'all held accountable, not just the right-wing media machine. But I want to address this comment from Secret Account Diary, talking about Ben Shapiro saying that racism isn't stopping Black women, so it shouldn't stop Black men. These are ways that these people try to play Black people against one another. Okay? Racism is very much hindering the quality of life of Black women. Racism. Yes. So let's be very clear about that. I've always been very clear with y'all. I am anti-racism on this channel. I do not believe that racism is something that only impacts black men. That is ridiculous. Okay? Now, I think that one thing you guys have to understand, right, is in every society, people will hire women over men because women are more agreeable. Okay? So in a lot of cultures, you'll find women working in factories over men because women will do the job. They won't complain, they won't fight back the way that men will. And so, that's kind of like the Oprah Winfrey effect, right? Where America said, black people, y'all can't complain about anything because look at Oprah. They were like, Oprah, right? And they're like, if Oprah can do it, you can do it. No, y'all had one spot for an Oprah. There are no other spots for another Oprah in this society. This isn't a society where, and I had this social media wannabe influencer girl arguing with me about how she's like, well, at least you guys can have a black Oprah here. She's an anti-black American social media influencer who's like determined to be like, black Americans have no problems because you were born in America. I'm like, so how long you been living in America? Most of your life. So by that same standard, shouldn't you have no problems? Right? If it's just living in America that gives you no problems, the fuck is you talking about? So she's very xenophobic against black Americans. And a lot of people are. Because it's easier to be xenophobic against black Americans than it is to admit that you've been benefiting off of their disenfranchisement. So she's like, but at least you guys have a society where there could be a black Oprah. Where I come from in my Latin societies, where she's like, in Latin society they won't allow there to be an Oprah. Whose fault is that? Black Americans worked hard so that there could be an Oprah. There's only one. If you want an Oprah in your society, then go ahead and do that. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, they don't have, this society isn't built for a bunch of black women to be walking around as billionaires and having a bunch of political and media power and financial power. This society isn't built for that. Okay? It's not encouraging that, right? So it's not facilitating that. It's not doing anything to help facilitate that at all. That's not how this society is set up. Oprah got to where she got through from her own hard work and determination, and just how things played out, at the time. Okay, so this idea that racism is not as impactful in black women's lives is cap. Again, people will hire women over men because women are more agreeable as employees. That's really it. So then you have like black women, like, okay, well, black women work more, black women have more of an education or whatever. I definitely think that black women are less influenced by having to feed into, and that's why I talk about this so often, right, is how like the hip hop culture, right? Y'all couldn't just enjoy it. Y'all had to pretend like that, like this is our life. Like before hip hop, y'all was doing shooby doo wop on the corner. Was that your life? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, did you harmonize everywhere you went because they was harmonizing on the corner? Like, no. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make sense for you to be acting like you have to behave like a rapper, and the rappers don't even behave like rappers. You listen to Lil Wayne, he got a lot of rock and roll, and he wants to skateboard, and he don't want to be a rapper, but you want to be Lil Wayne, the rapper. You know what I'm saying? So it's, I feel like black men feed more into the idea of what they should look like and be like and sound like than black women do, even though I think that's changing. And I feel like black women are starting to feed into that more. which is unfortunate. So, yeah, we got to be careful with that type of terminology, right? Because it's inaccurate. And the maternity mortality rate, the Black femicide rate, even the in school and out of school suspension rate, right? When we look at how Black girls are treated in grade school, proves to us that racism and colorism very much impact the lives of Black women, especially here in America. Let's continue with this clip.
Just leveraging literally all its weight against me, against our movement, against BLM, the organization. I'm some weeks out now from a lot of the noise, so I have more perspective, right? While I was in it, I was in survival mode. But so many people who I've talked to, and I've obviously talked to the two of you ad nauseum about this, but it's because we're powerful, because we are winning. It's because we are threatening the establishment, we're threatening white supremacy. And I think it's this piece that you named earlier. It's not just cultural shifting.
Right.
Like, things are changing for them. The reckoning has come to their doorstep in a way that they haven't had to reckon. And that is, they're clinging. They're clinging.
But Patrisse, get this. We are fucking with their money.
Yes.
How much money was that jail that you stopped?
$3.5 billion.
Okay. Billions of dollars.
With a
billions of dollars. Right?
And so just thinking about, like, as Black organizers and how much we do, how much we give, and like the purpose of power. I think about the work that you're doing now, Melina, around ending police associations. And like, I feel scared saying that out loud. Like, and I'm like, ooh, that means it's good. That demand, the demand that carry you.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Those are the best ones.
right? And you've been talking about this demand for years, but now is a political moment for it. And so I just want you to talk about, like, how did you and the team, like, where did that come from? Like, how has this moment helped shape this new kind of venture of the work?
Well, we won our last campaign. So we got Jackie Lacey's ass out of the DA's office. We said, what we gonna do on Wednesdays now? And that actually is kind of true. And I just want to uplift this, that the reason that's kind of true is because for more than 3 years, almost.
Let's be clear, wannabe supremacists. I'm not complaining about shit because I guarantee you, statistically, I'm living better than you. Statistically, I don't have any complaints. I'm calling shit out for what it is. And I mean, are you from Britain with the OU? I've been to the UK. Like, it's not America, okay? It's not America because there's this American exceptionalism ideal here that white people in America did something special, and that's why they deserve to live better than Black people. They're like, we did something special here. Like, it's like most white Americans here have only been here for 3-4 generations. Black Americans have been here for 3-4 times that amount. Native Americans even longer, right? And you're living off of disenfranchised peoples. I'm just pointing it out. You didn't win because I'm not disenfranchised, or you're not disenfranchising me. See, I got the bag. I'm gonna get the bag regardless. You see, because I'm not indoctrinated, so I know how to make money. Okay, so you got to worry about this opioid epidemic that you got going on right now. That's what you need to do. Worry about that opioid epidemic. Worry about, getting your kids and your grandkids and your grandparents off of meth and fentanyl overdoses and all that stuff. Worry about that and mind your own business and stop thinking you're going to come over here hurting somebody's feelings because you're not. I'm just calling shit out for what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you triggered? You triggered? It is what it is. I could get on here and talk about all the shit that y'all got going on. Why people need help with this drug epidemic that they're going through. They cannot get off of it. Y'all talk about the crack cocaine crisis of the 80s and 90s. Y'all been dealing with meth and opioid addiction since 2000. Like y'all was doing that shit in the 80s, 90s too. It didn't stop for y'all. And then you've kept it going. And if you didn't have undeserved privilege and a ridiculous sense of entitlement, you'd be able to get off of drugs. You'd be able to get off drugs. You wouldn't feel sorry for yourself. You wouldn't be like, oh my God, like now you're like victims. But before, when Black people were on drugs, oh, like they're criminals. But now that the people who are on the opioid and heroin epidemic, right? Now that they're in the suburbs, it's like, oh my God, this is a disease and these are victims and stuff like that. It's like, okay, well, stop feeling like a victim, stop feeling sorry for yourself. And that'll be the first step for y'all getting off those drugs, right? That's why you lost the middle class. Was you here when I was talking about the plastic bag? Get a plastic bag. Go ahead, pick up all this cash. Go get a plastic bag. Okay. Oh, you can't, because they took the plastic bags away from you, just like they're taking away the middle class. And that was y'all little one hope of getting that pool, right? Remember that pool? I got a pool. Remember that pool? Remember that pool that y'all kept hoping y'all was gonna get? Maybe you can get it at the RV park. Okay, but keep eating your cauliflower, keep eating your hot dog casserole, your hot dog stew, and stay in your bum ass place. Oh, okay. It's funny when y'all complain. I'll tell you that right now. I'm like, how you complaining? You were given the biggest handouts you had enslaved people working for you. You get to benefit off of disenfranchised native people's populations of this country. And then you complain that you have to wear a mask, or that that you're not the richest person when you ain't working to be rich. You don't work for it. You just entitled and want it, right? It's funny when y'all complain, sit up there, oh my God, this Black person's in a white TV show. This white TV show took place. Black people would never be here. They only do this to us. I'm like, well, every movie about ancient Egypt determined that that's a lie. Every movie they have about ancient Egypt is filled with non-Egyptian people. So what are you talking about? It's funny when you complain. Powder, okay? It really is. As I laugh my ass off, I'm like, oh my God, like, it's so sad. Like, you really gonna sit here and complain when you got the biggest handouts of all eternity, and y'all really gonna sit and complain? You can't complain to me, because I will never feel sorry for you. Never. Go take care of that meth epidemic. Go get off that heroin. Okay? Go figure that out. Authentically Me says, life didn't get better under Trump. Police frequently murdered Black men, women, and children. Trump encouraged the brutality. Black people saying Trump saved them with a few dollars is sickening. Ain't nobody saved Black people, and only God can save Black people. Y'all got to stop looking for a leader. Stop, buying into a lot of stuff. You really do. Absolutely. Ugh. Can you guys hear me? Jeez. Computer is computer blue. Okay. Struggling. Let's see. Mr. Nibble says, anyone remember the Triangle Factory tragedy? 112 women died in 1911 due to a fire. Most jumped from the 10th floor to their death. That was the saddest event, but all were women. Exactly, Mr. Nibble, exactly. So, they'll be like, oh, Black women, you're doing better. Don't, it's like, that don't take away, statistically, they hire women more. Okay? Stop. You guys have a responsibility here, okay? And you don't get to deflect and try to misplace things and try to, what I'm saying? They do this to confuse you, right? So that's why you have to understand what's going on in the world. That's a great point, Mr. Nibble. Patrisse should be arrested for fraud at the very least. We need to know where the billions went. Exactly. Yeah, like, did you have billions? Like, you got like billions, you know? The world is 92. What? I don't know about those numbers, but okay. Uh, Candace is hilarious and very strong. The Black community put her through a lot. I mean, I'm not really vested in her like that. Belinda says Trump was the best POTUS ever for all Americans. The world loved him. Okay. That's interesting. Sure. Cian says Biden is the worst president in American history. He is watching and saying nothing about the collapse of this country. Yerp. Yerp, because the country has sold out the people. Okay. This country is going to be a place where people from other countries come to make money. Okay. Like, that's what this country is going to be known for. It's not going to be known for, I'm just telling you what it looks like based on how politics are moving. Right. Is this me complaining? Right. Is this me complaining? I'm just pointing shit out to y'all. The country is going to be sold out to people from other countries who care about their country and their people. American politicians do not care about American citizens. Is that me complaining when I say that? Huh? Or is it just complaining if I'm talking about Black issues? You see how dumb racists are? Dumbest people on the planet. Dumbest people on the planet, easily. The most mentally ill, the most dumb people on the planet. Never fails. We are getting ready to be starved, lose homes, etc. No solutions from Biden in sight. Biden is getting ready to have even more of a free-for-all. Okay, oh God. Oh dear. White privilege is the 21st century. In the 21st century is a myth. I mean, it's fading. It's fading. But it's still very much alive. You can't say it's a myth. Like, like, when did racism stop? What year? You go ahead and put it in the chat, because there's some people in here who are racists that want to downplay racism. Like, I didn't create that structure or system. It's something I had to deal with, and that's something that Black people have to deal with. So what year did racism stop so that you can be confidently saying that racism and thus white privilege are things of the past? Are they fading out? Yes. But it's not because people are less racist. It's because the country has sold itself out. You have the leaders of America don't care about America. They don't care about Americans. So the country has sold itself out to other countries. So all of those other, there's a bunch of people coming here who are not from here. And that's why you guys are losing privilege, right? It's not because you've worked hard to re-educate yourselves and do right by all of the native populations of the country. No, it's because you're being outnumbered by people from other countries now. You're going to be outnumbered by them, and who brought them in? It wasn't Black people that made America the way that it is, right? So white people brought in, so like your own people, basically, because they didn't care about you guys, feeling like you're like the best things. Like, they don't care about that. Like, all that American exceptionalism. They're like, whatever, we want to get the bag. These people from this country here will give me $100 million to do something for them in their country. So I'm going to do something for them in their country. That helps me. I don't care about my people. I don't care about the country. I only care about money. Your leaders in general, it's true for Black people and it's true for all Americans, right? Your leaders only care about money. They don't care about the people. They don't care about the land, right? They're not like tied to the land or nothing. They're like, I can live anywhere. It don't matter to them. When you got money, you can live anywhere. So again, I definitely think that we're going to be moving more into a class-based system than a race-based system, the way that America has been for the majority of its existence. We are going to be moving into that, but we're not there yet. And so we can't ignore, history. Let's see. Mr. Nibble says American exceptionalism has nothing to do with race or racism. Gotta stop seeing everything in history throughout the lens of one group of race that is not accurate, not even close or funny. I don't know about that. American exceptionalism has everything to do with the American dream and who was able to achieve the American dream, right? So we have to look at who has been given the opportunity to achieve the American dream and who the American dream is thriving off of. You can't deny the oppression and the disenfranchisement of the native populations of America, which includes the native Black population and Native Americans. You can't deny that. So, it is what it is. But you can't deny the history of Black people being not allowed to enter into pools, enter into educational establishments, basic spaces to function, right? You can't ignore that history and then say we don't have any problems with race or it's not realistic. It's not realistic. It's going to be like Hunger Games. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It really is. It really is. If y'all can't see that now, and I think a lot of people get big and bad online, but it's like you don't need to be big and bad online. You need to start, stepping your bricks up and getting it together in real life. All this online, big personality shit, it's like, come on, like who are you in real life? Because that's where it's going to matter when it comes time to getting gas and you can't get none. When it comes time to all the groceries being bought out and stuff, rich people, they get their groceries delivered. They don't care that they took away y'all plastic bags. They don't need plastic bags. They're not going to come to a grocery store and only have $25. So, yeah, pay attention. Pay attention. Authentically Me says, America, don't forget to factor in the reality that Trump inherited a healthy economy from Obama, dear. You are turning a blind eye to that itty-bitty fact, but so not a surprise, really. Right, true, exactly. You have to understand, they want to tell you that there's two parties, and one feels this way and one feels that way. There's two parties, but there's one establishment. That's something that y'all need to start understanding. There's two parties, there's one establishment. You got two parties, but nothing ever significantly changes no matter who's in office. No matter who's in office, whether they're Democrat or Republican, there's never any substantial change, certainly not for the better. I mean, they're still telling you, like, look, we gave you guys the right to vote and little basic rights ass shit like that. Like, okay, you didn't give me shit. These are things that people work for, right? They want to be like, look, you don't have it as bad as it was. Like, who cares? It needs to be getting better. That's what you've been put in office for. If your life is good, the lives of your constituents need to be good. And that's what we're seeing with this Black Lives Matter situation, right? They're sitting up there like, we're doing all this for the people. We're doing all this for the people. But they're the only ones eating at a table, in a mansion in California with the wind and the breeze. And it is discrediting the movement. So it's twofold what they're doing, at the very least. CN says, get ready. I hope everyone is storing some food, is prepared to grow some kind of garden, have a garage sale if you have to, so you have some extra cash out of the bank. I'm telling you. I tell people in my life all the time, I'm like, get it together, because I'm not going to be able to save you. I'm not going to be able to give you a month of rent money or get you out of this jam. I'm not here for that. I'm not here to get other people out of jams because you didn't want to listen or you didn't want to do the work that had to be done. I'm telling you the work that had to be done. You're like, oh, this is nice. You got this, you got that. How you get it? I'm like, okay, I'm going to tell you how I got it. Can you give me some? No, I don't have nothing to share. I don't have a square to spare. Okay? I don't. Not even a square to spare. Not even a square. I don't have a square to spare. You're going to have to get it yourself. And we all knew these tough times was coming. So get ready. You know, and part of getting ready is getting mental fortitude. Is getting your mind ready. Again, I go back to my swimming lessons, right? And just learning how to breathe and stay afloat in the water and learning how to not panic in a situation where you feel you should panic. You cannot touch the ground floor. You're out in the water, you know, in the ocean, the pool, whatever. You're out in the water. You can't touch the ground floor. You have to float or you're going to sink. And all you got to do to float is breathe. Can you do it? And a lot of people that don't know how to swim, that don't know how to float, can't do that. And I'm telling you, that's the situation that you're dealing with in life right now. Right now in life right now. It's like you got to breathe. You got to focus and concentrate and not panic. You got to make a plan. You got to be strategic. This is what Black folk need to do, okay? This is what Black folk need to do. Breathe, focus, get strategic. Stop doing things that, you know, panicking. Stop letting that be your response. You know, and I wish somebody would have told me that because that's a very smart way to go through life and to look at life. Just breathe. And focus and don't panic. And if everyone did that, we'd live in a much more considerate society. That's one of the reasons that I loved London so much, is because I felt like this is a very considerate society. They have signs when people are homeless. You can call, there's like numbers you can call, and they'll have a van come and pick up the homeless person, take them to a shelter. In New York, you just got a bunch of homeless people. They don't got nowhere to put these people. Nowhere. The shelters are full. There's no consideration for other people. Yes, Black people are the only people not allowed to prioritize themselves. Exactly. Right? And so even when my husband's like, oh, this woman's being friendly to you, and I noticed you weren't being friendly with her. Is everything okay? I'm like, everything is great. I'm great. If she chooses to be overly friendly, she can do that. All I need is a decent interaction. I don't require or demand somebody be friendly, you know, on top of it, unless I'm at Disney World or something. You know what I'm saying? So don't demand that of me. I'm not here to follow demands. I'm here to live my life. The Brits are coming because they say cost of living is too high. The British are coming. The British are coming. First woman millionaire in America was a Black woman. We work hard, baby. We work hard. We work hard, and that's Belinda Kennedy. That's the first self-made woman millionaire. Understand that. So before her, there were hundreds of white women that were millionaires through inheritance. Okay? So you can't have a system, you can't have a history, a country with a culture where white women, hundreds and thousands of them were there in America being millionaires before one Black woman got to be, and that was through her own hard work and determination. You can't have that type of history and say, now racism and all that stuff is a thing of the past. I mean, it would be lovely if you want it to be a thing of the past. Do the work to make it a thing of the past. If you want it to be a thing of the past, and you want to say that with your chest, then do the work to make it a thing of the past. And then you can say that with your chest, and you can know you can stand in it. And it can mean something, because it doesn't mean anything when people say that today, because it's not true. It's not a thing of the past at all. It's not. And it should be. It really should be, because it's draconian, it's outdated, it's outlandish, it's ridiculous. It's tired, it's old. Nobody wants to keep dealing with it, you know? Melancholy Me says, we don't need the approval of others, but we do need to learn how to play others at their own game, because become different when they start speaking up about their issues like they do us. Again, as I said earlier in this broadcast, which I'm going to be wrapping up, so I think we get the gist of, this conversation about the Black Lives Matter versus, Candace Owens and politics, and the information wars on Black people. People can't information wars and play you if you educate yourself. You see what I'm saying? So make sure you're doing that. But as I said earlier, right? America is a very passive aggressive society. Very passive aggressive, right? People will tell people who are not Black, will go up to Black people and say, "There's no more racism. I'm not racist. I bought my niece a Black baby doll. So how am I racist?" And you have to deal with a lot of that kind of backwards, ridiculous type of logic, right? It's a very passive aggressive society. So they wouldn't come up to you and necessarily call you a derogatory slur, right? And so they're like, there is no racism, right? And so instead of Black people understanding this passive aggressive way that things are done, right? Black people will shame other Black people, and they'll be like, you're a sellout if you behave the way that other people are behaving. No, that's called common sense. It's called common sense, okay? If you're in a society and this is how the society works, it's a passive aggressive society. Why do y'all do everything so directly? Why do you keep doing everything so directly? It doesn't make any sense. So I know you guys talk a lot about 48 laws of power on here, right? Well, one of the 48 laws of power discusses the appearance of weakness. You understand that? The appearance of weakness. It's something that Patrisse Cullors was trying to do, right? She was like, I'm vulnerable, right? She came on and she said, you guys need to be worried about me. Don't let Candace Owens be rolling up on me, telling me to come off the porch, because I'm vulnerable. Like, we're all vulnerable, sis. We're all, and we don't all have $1 million mansions to hide out in. We don't all have white security guards. We're all vulnerable, sis. But I'm supposed to be exerting energy to protect you. Protect yourself. You're making money, millions and millions of dollars, get all this fame and stuff. I can't believe I used to travel alone. Oh my God, without my security detail. Can you imagine? I used to travel alone. But you want all the glory of being an activist, but you don't want none of the responsibilities of being an activist. The activist life is hard. You're not supposed to be a celebrity. An activist life is hard. An activist life is filled with struggles and threats. And when you decide to advocate for something, that's something that you enter understanding. And you want to advocate, you want to say that you're going against white supremacy in America. She's like, you know what? They're mad at us because we're going against their money. And we're going against white supremacy. Like, how are you going against white supremacy, but you let wealthy white liberals do and say whatever they want? How is that going against white supremacy? Did white supremacy stop when it comes to wealthy white liberals? No, it doesn't. How are you going against white supremacy when you're doing the model of white supremacy? You don't want to live around Black people. You want your own security. You want to get as much money as you can for yourself, your family, in the name of justice. And you want to talk about you're going against white supremacy? But she's playing the game. She's playing the American leader, the American politic, the American activist game. It's usually just to get money. Okay? But she's playing the game, right? She's like, you guys, I'm vulnerable. Candace Owens, she pulled up on me, right? She's giving you the illusion of weakness. She's not in a weakened position. She has resources. As she said herself, she has community. She has connections. But she's telling people who have none of that, y'all need to be putting in emotional labor to protect me and mine. But she wouldn't protect you and yours. And so, you know, you want to talk about crabs in a bucket mentality. What could be more crabs in a bucket than to see that this is a passive aggressive society? And then you talk about something, well, we gonna keep it real. And then you wonder why nobody likes you. Right? Because everybody's playing passive aggressive. That's what they're doing now. That's the game. Everyone's playing the illusion of weakness, right? They're like, oh my God, my group is in trouble. We need help. And you know what they're saying their group is in trouble against? Y'all, black people. Like these black people, they're very scary, right? The black people are like, oh, we gonna clap it, keep it real. I'm like, why are you doing that? Everyone's pretending to be scared of you so that they can justify keeping you at the bottom. And you want to respond to that with, this indignant attitude. Pay attention. Play the game. If you're not going to play the game, then you're going to lose. If you're not going to play the game, you're going to lose. That's what you'll observe when you're not willing to play the game. Then you're going to lose. So don't call the next black person a sellout because they decided to play the game. Candace Owens is playing the game. These women are playing the game. I'm not calling them sellouts, but I'm calling them out. I'm calling them out for it. Because at whose expense are they playing the game? Well, Candace Owens' rhetoric, to me, has been very problematic and damaging and devaluing of black people. I think also she has been right about a lot of things concerning how the Democrats have treated black people. Yes, she has. But two things can be true. Like Kanye West, she's very articulated in the understanding of how the Democratic Party indoctrinates and infantilizes black people, right? But she also has rhetoric that supports the devaluation of black people as well, right? So, two things can be true. If you're talking about that girl that inherited the land, again, I don't know how true that is over there being white millionaires. You're talking about one black woman. Sarah, I believe, was a girl, right? You're talking about one black person. You're not going to tell me that there weren't a bunch of white women in this country who didn't have millions of dollars at their disposal. And the first woman in America was, a little black girl who inherited, and I don't know what she was able to do with that. You hear about her inheriting it. You don't hear about her living in, spending it. You don't hear about her thriving with it, what she did in the future, nothing. They just were like, oh, she inherited this money or whatever. And a lot of white women inherited millions of dollars as well. So again, yeah, I mean, George Washington's wife was a millionaire. So was Sarah before or after her? George Washington's wife was a millionaire. She had millions of dollars before marrying him. Belinda Kennedy, since you know everything. Belinda Kennedy, since you know everything. Quickly. So George Washington is the first president of the United States. His wife was a millionaire. Belinda. Quickly. You see what I'm saying? Because what you're not gonna play me because I know my history. You see how you can't just come on here and say shit? You can try that shit with somebody else though. Well, we're well aware of Sarah as well. And we know who she is. And yes, you can look up everything. Go ahead and look that up. I'm a little scared to call numbers for homeless, especially the police. Couldn't live with myself if I helped them being exploited. Who knows what they're really doing to them in New York City? I'm telling you. And it's not, I mean, what they told me when I was in London is that these are services to help the homeless. You know, they're not criminalizing them. They're sending them to shelters. So you know, I actually had one guy said to me, if you see a homeless person, which I'm not agreeing with, I'm just telling you what the guy told me, was an Uber driver. He said, if you see them, you know, they want to be out there because they don't have to be out there. And that's what he said to me when I was in London. So I thought that was interesting because that's absolutely not true of many of the homeless people in America, certainly not in New York City, right? Like, people have said to me they want to be homeless, they want to be out there about people in New York, and it's not true, right? If they want to stay in a shelter, almost anywhere in America, there's like a wait list. There's a wait list, there's rules, you know, there's limited spots. And there is no housing crisis or shortage in America either, right? So why are there so many homeless people when we don't have a housing shortage? Because it benefits a lot of people for there to be people who are mentally ill, who need homes, who have no security. That creates a lot more jobs for people who do. And it's easier to create jobs for your government. Your government would rather create jobs for people to help the homeless than to help the homeless. Are you paying attention? Right? So you got to ask yourself a lot of questions when you're living in a society like that. Like, what is this? What's going on? Right? You know, ask yourself questions. Hi, RA, good to see you. If you see people being disrespectful, ROA, go ahead and block them for me. Appreciate it, because I don't want to deal with it. Yeah, like Belinda Kennedy. You can block her if you want. 3 hours of brainwashing, no facts. And yo bitch ass sat through and listened to all of it, didn't you, Belinda? Didn't you? Dumbass bitch. That's what I'm talking about. So maybe get your ass up and get something to do. Go get a life. I would never sit up under somebody for 3 motherfucking hours and listen to what the fuck they were saying and I didn't agree with them. You got to get a life. You got to get a life. Dog. Great insight about passive aggressive society and how everyone pretends to be scared. Happened to me plenty of times. Exactly. We live in a passive aggressive society, you know. Oh, I'm actually just a Candace stan or something. Y'all, oh my God, you guys are Candace stans. Can you pop these Candace stans on out of here? I'm not saying anything disparaging about Candace. That's the funny thing. I haven't said anything disparaging about her. I stated only facts. I've stated only facts. I never said nothing about her character, nothing. All I said was she points out truths about how the Democratic Party has infantilized and indoctrinated Black people, but she also has said things, her rhetoric and speech about Black Americans is devaluing. How is that too much for your little minds? This woman is a bully. Then why would you sit up under a bully, dummy? Kick rocks. You sound so fucking stupid. Like, why would you go into somebody's chat? If you don't like what I'm saying, move the fuck along. Then the conversation is not for you. Especially if you're not Black, particularly, you don't fucking need to be here. I know you see the fucking topic. I don't give a fuck if you like Candace Owens. I don't care. What are you talking about? So like I said, so George Washington's wife was not a millionaire? Belinda? That's what I'm talking about. Like, do you know American history? You don't know American history, but you want to repeat Candace Owens' talking points. She doesn't know you exist. Yeah, I absolutely can deal with the truth. I'm completely fine with the truth. Okay. So you see how you got kicked out? It's just like that. It's just like that. Shout out to my mods, ROA. You see how yo bitch ass can't say shit in my chat no more? Who's paying me? Man, I wish. Like they're paying, like somebody's paying Candace Owens and somebody's paying Patrisse Cullors. I'm not here to tell black people how to think. And if you're a black person, you need to side-eye anyone trying to tell you how to think. I'm simply having a conversation. Okay?
Three and a half years, we were protesting every Wednesday outside of the Hall of Justice to try to oust this district attorney who had signed off on 634 murders at the hands of police in LA County, right? Wouldn't prosecute police no matter what. I think what we always have to remember, since you raised King, right, like, is he talks all the time about beautiful struggle, right? And so there's this struggle, but we had created this culture outside of Jackie Lacey's office, which was really beautiful. Like, it was beautiful and powerful, and there were songs, and there were people, and we had chants, and we had, you know, our kids were there, and we missed each other. And there's a saying, there's nothing more dangerous than pretending as if you live at peace when you're really at war. And so there's a need to recognize who your opponent is. Police associations bully and bribe elected officials. That's how they get these policies that give them like extra protections for murderous ass policies, right? Police associations, we were laughing about this before, pilfer the public purse. They steal our money, right? They lobby for most major cities, give about 50% of their general fund to police when we know, like, here's what's stupid. We're paying more for police on public transportation than it would cost to give free public transportation when the police, all they're doing is enforcing fares.
That's right.
So just make the fares free, then you don't need the police, right? And you could save money, right?
You don't hear that?
So
Sorry, but you don't hear that.
one of the things that's also been birthed over the last year is not everybody who rose up is like part of, like, formally a part of Black Lives Matter, but everybody's trying to figure out what they can contribute. So, you know, we're Black Lives Matter, and solidarity emerges organically. So Daniel Hernandez's family has never missed a week, right? And his mom is monolingual Spanish speaker, and we always close every family who speaks with say their names, right? So she'll go, diga su nombre, Daniel Hernandez. Diga su nombre, Daniel Hernandez. Diga su nombre, Daniel Hernandez. And then she'll go, Ashe. Yes. And it's like,
Like,
but
why
it's
does it make
so, it makes me cry. It does make me cry. And it's just this culture. We got these white folks, radical ass white folks, who come out with wagons full of snacks, like hot Cheetos and shit. And then the kids go, hot Cheetos. My daughter takes public transportation because it's hot Cheetos and a fucking wagon. She's like, I'm coming.
Amazing.
And so I'm just grateful for like all the ways, and I'm drink a little bit. But like how you said you needed to learn how to say no, and for me it's like I always say yes, and both are right. Yep, right. Both of them are right.
Yo, Thought Warriors. What is up? Higher Learning is on. It is I.
Okay, so that was the conversation that the Black Lives Matter founders had. I believe Melina Abdullah, who was the woman standing up, she was saying the Diga or Diha, like say his name or whatever. And if I'm correct, I do believe that the woman that created the say her name hashtag created that specifically to bring awareness to missing and or Black women whose lives have been taken, right? Like specifically for Black women. It's not supposed to be used for other people. But again, there's a lot of appropriation of Black, liberation tactics, right? Without, acknowledgement of how important it is to bring awareness to things like missing Black women and children who are disproportionately affected by things like trafficking and violence, things like that. It's look, I wasn't expecting the trolls that came up in this because Candace, but I think your followers say a lot about you as well. And the fact that both of these women will have people coming in with vitriol and lies, and trying to distort the message, it speaks volumes to what they're about, and I saw that some of the Black women in the chat, obviously I know some of you guys like Candace Owens. I'm not sure why. I know that some of the Black women content creators have pushed her like, oh, she's Candace Owens. But like I said, like to me, she's too problematic for me to promote personally. But we can note the difference between the Black women that support Candace Owens and how they've interacted with this video and the non-Black women who were just here calling me a bully and calling me aggressive, right? These are tactics that they use, right? To infantilize themselves, to victimize themselves, right? Permanent victims. And that's something that, underformed racist minds, entitled, undeserving of privilege minds do. Undeserved privilege creates social chaos and dysfunction, right? Because you're not supposed to have privilege where like life's supposed to be hard. It's not supposed to be hard for that group, right? Like life is a struggle, life is difficult, and America has kind of like created this dynamic where it's like life is hard for those people, right? Like a person will see a Black person, they're like, oh my God, your life must be so hard, right? Whether they sincerely mean it or not, they're always like just looking at you like, isn't your life supposed to be hard? Aren't you supposed to be appreciative for every little crumb that you get? And like they really like have this like idea, this kind of sort of backwards mentality here. So it was no different with those trolls that came into the account. You didn't see their faces. They were trolls. They're ready to troll. Bitch, you can't troll on me. You go worry about those epidemics. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, how you gonna troll me and your grandma on heroin? Hello? How, Sway? The fuck? Your whole family on intervention. You trying to troll me? Come on now. I was always somewhat neutral about Candace until she spoke on Ma'Khia Bryant's murder. I'm not sure what she had to say, but I no doubt, I'm sure that she was just like, who cares, right? And you guys know how I feel about Ma'Khia Bryant. I believe that she was failed by all of the adults in her life. And I've told you guys personally, people want to make foster care out to be this like life-saving thing for kids, but for a lot of kids, foster care, most kids in the foster care system, foster care is very detrimental and violent, right? It's a violent system, and the adults in Ma'Khia Bryant's life failed her, and in every way, and it's just another example of the broken foster care system here in America. Every time a black person is conservative, other black people are always trying to say we are agents. Exactly, there's that, right? I like to, the thing about me being a independent political person is that I'm happy to hear from both sides, but I'm not going to cape for either side. And so it's like, I'll listen to anybody. But then you'll have people from either side be like, well, I'm not going to listen to you because you're, independent or progressive or whatever, and it's like, it's always something like, are we fighting for the same things here? Somebody said to me on one of my videos, they said, I think biracial people and black people should be separate. It was a biracial person who was like mad that I said, as I've said before, right? You are erasing black women when you replace black women with biracial women. They're not the same women. They don't have the same experiences. And so this biracial person said, yeah, I'm biracial. And I think that, we should be separated because we have different political ideas. And I'm like, how are your political ideas different? Like, if you're a biracial person and half your family's black, you don't want black people to have better lives? Like, how are your political ideas different? You know what I'm saying? So like, they would vary. Everything varies slightly, right? Of course, but like at its foundation, should we not be fighting for equity and inequality here? At the core. So people just get so wrapped up in which party this and which party that, and it's only gotten worse, and that's why I've been independent for years. Okay. Before Trump got into office, I've been independent because I just, after how Obama just came in to be a celebrity, a lot of black politicians do this. They come in, they get into politics, they want to be a celebrity. Eric Adams, the New York City mayor, right? Every time you see him, he's hanging out with celebrities. I'm like, God damn, bruh. But if you look at New York versus London, and people from London will come to New York and they'll be like, what the hell is this? The subway is a mess. Like, everything is kind of like run down and grubby for the most part, that you have access to, right? They won't let you use public bathrooms. Like, what is this? What is this? Y'all get all this money and like, where does it go, right? And I'm like, corruption. It's they take people's money here, and it's all corruption. That's where the money went. But rest assured, they're gonna take your money, right? To fix the street and to pay for this and to pay for that. And then when you get to the street, when you get to the subway, when you get to the school, when you get to the hospital, everything's falling apart. But they took your money to pay for it. So, let's be clear. Black Lives Matter org isn't the only people we need to ask, where's the money going? Let's be clear. The Congressional Black Caucus. You vote for these people. What have they done for black people? They need to be held accountable. There's so many people that need to be held accountable for the power, for the finances that they have, the control that they have. You know what I'm saying? So, just keep that spirit of discernment and understanding when you're in your daily life. Again, I'm going to implore you to start asking more questions, okay? What I enjoyed about those trolls was, like I said, it's going to take a lot more than somebody with an opioid addiction to trigger me. Okay? It's going to take a lot more than that. Okay? One thing I like about those trolls, right, where they were like, you can look it up and you can do this here. And you can look it up. Look it up. Look up everything that's been said and done. I encourage you to do that because that makes you smarter. You're not doing it for me because I've already looked this shit up. You got somebody, this woman's in the chat. She knows good and damn well if she tries to start something with a black person, she can get that black person in trouble right now to this day in this country. And she's telling you, oh, there was a black woman millionaire in America once. A long time ago, there was a black woman millionaire. What does that have to do with anything? You see, these are the ways that they right? It's the Oprah effect. Oprah did it when they only had one slot for Oprah. The system isn't built for a bunch of Oprahs. Meanwhile, it's a bunch of Jeff Bezos wives. It's a bunch of Paris Hiltons. The system's built for that. So you can't let people gaslight you. Right? Look everything up. Look it 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 up. Shit. Good afternoon, Danie. Hope you're doing well. Just passing through. Happy Mother's Day. Oh, happy Mother's Day, the Queen Cascade. Happy Mother's Day. It's okay to identify as conservative. That doesn't mean people can't criticize your perspective and point out how your beliefs harm your best interests. Exactly. Exactly. It's okay to be, you have a right to be and do and think whatever you want to do. But make sure that you're empowering yourself and you're informing yourself and you're educating yourself. And you're not just doing stuff because somebody told you to do it. Happy Mother's Day, Mocha Mommy. Good to see you. I appreciate your opinions, even though I don't agree with everything you say. Your fire's in the right place. Thank you, Melancholy Me. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. We could disagree. We can agree to disagree. But if you can't have respect for people without name calling, gaslighting, lying, because look, if you come to my channel disrespecting me, I'm gonna cuss your ass out. Dumb is the rules. I don't go to other people's channel and call them liars and stuff. If I'm on somebody's channel and I don't agree with what they're saying, I leave. If you have proof of something different, you could have dropped the link. Drop the link. Miss Proof. But it's not surprising when one of these Amber turds comes into the room playing a victim. I'll tell you that right now. That's their MO. An Amber turd is going to play a victim. That's what they're going to do. Trolling on a Sunday. On a Sunday. Trolling. Candace is a professional troll at this point. Not that I would ever cape for Patrisse. Exactly. Exactly. Thank you, Mocha Mommy. There it is right there. There it is right there. I feel the same way. Exactly. I'm not caping for neither one of them. But as someone earlier in the discussion said, right? They're both going to go where the money goes. That's what most of these people are out here doing. They're going where the money resides, where the money resides, where the money resides. For them. And they're being backed by rich white people on both sides who want to have an influence in the information wars that black people are going through. They want to have the most influence, and they're funneling money through women like this to make that happen. That's what I see here when I'm looking at this situation. You know what I'm saying? Yes, Candace basically called her a monster. Micaiah was a child and never got a second chance, so Candace's stance was just too extreme for me. At times, her message lacks nuance. There it is, ROA. There it is, exactly. Exactly. And I'm like, especially if you can't speak to her experience, then you can't speak about her choices. When you can't speak to her experience, you can't speak about her choices. I was watching a Judge Judy, and there was a little black girl, like a 13-year-old black girl, had maced a grown woman, a black woman. And Judge Judy was like, "You gave your daughter mace?" And she's like, "For her safety."
you know? And I'm like, Judge Judy can't understand. I mean, even Judge Judy grew up in Brooklyn, but she still can't understand why a single black mother would give her daughter, her 11-year-old daughter at the time, a can of mace, right? Because she's like, well, if you want to protect her, then, you know, get an education, marry a good guy so that you wouldn't have to live in that area, right? If you want to protect her, then you would do that. You wouldn't give her a can of mace, right? But she doesn't understand that's not her experience. That's not where that woman's coming from. You know what I'm saying? And the reason I speak so much on what it's like for poor black folk is because I do know what that experience is like. I have lived that experience. I can tell that biracial person probably didn't have a black mother. Yeah, exactly. She's like, our politics are different. I was like, oh, you got black daddy. You can care less about these niggas, huh? You know they they be like Doja Cat. They really niggas ain't shit. Like, you know, they really don't be fucking with black people like that. 9 out of 10 areas that have a high percentage of POC have corrupted systems that don't aid in public welfare. Majority areas treat their poor population much better because they can. Exactly. I mean, you look at the numbers, right? As somebody said, white privilege is a myth. White privilege is fading, but to call it a myth would mean you don't understand basic statistics, basic history, basic dynamics, right? A white person who has not graduated from high school will get a job over a black college graduate. I'll say that again. A white person who has not graduated high school will get a job over a black college graduate. Okay? Those are the statistics right now to this day. So what is that? You know, what is that? Is that not a privilege to be given a job in a world, in a society as competitive as this one? You know, and most people have no idea what it's like to work really hard and have people still tell you no. I'll never forget once I was out, it was winter, it was a very cold winter day. I was out getting a slice of pizza, and a young black kid, he came into the pizza shop and he was like asking them if they were like looking for work, you know, looking for employees, if they had an application. He was like, can I have a job application? And they're like, no, we're not looking, we're not hiring right now, right? And maybe they were hiring and they just didn't want him. But the bottom line is, I'm like, do you know how many times that kid is going to go into stores and be told no when he asks for a job application? That's not something that a young white person would go through, to be told no when they ask for a job application. And you know, it breaks my heart. It really does. Inequality is not something that I'm ever going to be cool with. You know, period. It's just not. Can we talk about the toll roads, sis? Why do we still ride on bridges built in the 30s, pay $20 and still be stuck in traffic? Exactly. Exactly. Like, where is the money going? This is crazy. Oh, pretty. I know. I'm going to leave. All right, guys. Anyways, I got to go. Problem is, Patrisse acted like the money was for Black Lives. Candace hasn't said that. Where is the BLM money? Hey, I agree with you. I agree with you. I'm not holding Candace to the same standard that I held Patrisse to. And Patrisse needs to understand that, right? She's like, this isn't the time, you guys. Don't let them turn you against me. No. Right? People are gonna go harder at you because you're using Black people who have lost their lives. You're collecting money. There's no accountability. And you know, you're talking about we're defeating white supremacy. That you're bragging about a lot, but nothing has been accomplished. There's no transparency. You're trying to do something huge, and then you're trying to say, well, I shouldn't have to be accountable to people I don't know. Apparently that's what Abdullah said, right? She was like, I don't have to be accountable to people I don't know. But you want the cops you don't know to be accountable, right? So these cops don't know you, but you're telling them they should be accountable to you. So the cops should be accountable to you, but you don't have to be accountable to nobody. Right? Is that what you're telling me? It's too much hypocrisy. Right? And in the end, the movement has suffered because of that. It has been taken less serious because everything now is about how they got all this money and all you see is them living up in the lap of luxury, putting their family on every account and every position so that there's money constantly being funneled into their family. And then you said you're doing it in the name of black people and black lives. We could have really, they could have really gotten some change, some progress made. And they didn't. And they're patting themselves on the back. And they're like, oh, I feel great. I am thriving. Yes. And I'm like, how can you be feeling like that when there's so many people who were on the ground with you that are homeless right now? Mothers of these, people who have lost their lives are homeless. Look what happened to Erica Garner. May she rest in peace. She could have used some of that money, some of that support. So yeah. I'm glad we talked about this. Been wanting to talk about it for a minute, and I just decided, you know what, let's just do it. So I'm gonna do it. And I did it, y'all. Okay, I did it. I already had a video about that, basically. It is what it is. Yeah. Black men want black women to give them emotional labor, right? And they want black women to console them in the passing of this man. But this is a man who was not for black women. And people could get on and say he was for the unity of the black family, but no, he wasn't. He was for the coddling of fragile egos. Okay? That's it. He was for the coddling of fragile, dusty egos. That's it. He was a sensational YouTuber. That's the legacy he wanted to leave. If he wanted to be some great man, he wanted peace and love all over this land. If he wanted to be that, then he could have done that. That's not what he chose to do with his time and his money and his efforts and his energy. So, I mean, he had a lot of cologne. He had a lot of knickknacks. I don't know where they're going to go. Pack them up in a box. I don't know who's going to take those knickknacks. But, I don't know who's going to take the sound effect board. But, I think that the income from his channel should go to his daughter. And, I think that's one of the more interesting things that have happened on YouTube in quite a while. Really, truly. Because he had just dropped a video, like, he had just dropped a video, and then it was like, he's dead. It's like, what? Are you sure? That's crazy. So, yeah, I mean, he was interesting because I really think that he changed a lot about how people, how these guys want to have discussions and how they see themselves and all that other stuff. But like at the same time, you no, like there's not going to be another one of him. People are going to try, but there's not going to be another one of him. So it's so interesting. He's another person who he could have done so much to really help people with the power and the platform that he had. And he went for the bag like everyone does. He did what he had to do for the bag. So that's it. That's it, and that's all. But yeah, I have a video on that if you want to check it out. Who's fragile ego? The men that followed him. That's who. The men that put him on a pedestal. He was coddling their fragile egos. So I don't know if you follow him or not, but that's the fragile egos. All right. Well, I mean, that's pretty much it for this one. Like I said, I'm really glad we had this conversation because I think that it's important that you guys start asking the important questions. Happy Mother's Day to all the beautiful mothers out there. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll see you very soon next time. Bye.